Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast. This is episode 4. 4 guys, right? Yeah, 4.
Yep.
Video Game Dads podcast, where 3 guys sit in a basement, discuss video games, fatherhood, and everything in between. 3 hosts. I am one of them. My name is Benjamin.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Adam.
All right. Welcome, guys. Hey, we tried to do this last week, and I had food poisoning. You guys remember that? We tried to get together.
Yep.
Yeah, but we fit one in. It is now in between Christmas and New Year's, and this is our holiday special.
Yay!
Yeah. The only thing special about it is the fact that I just said it's a holiday special. That's it.
What kind of food made you sick?
Yeah.
So that's what
I think it was I had a protein shake and almond milk on an empty stomach, but it was bad. Like a couple weeks, I was nauseous. But it all came up with a vengeance. Couldn't hold anything down. The next day was worthless. It was one of those. I wanted a day off work. Obviously I had to call in because I couldn't see. Deal with
Almond milk and protein shake. Are you trying to get your swell on? What are you trying to?
No,
There you.
Well, they say it helps recovery or what. I'm not one of those goofballs that like shakes it in front of everybody and walks around like he's got a marimba or whatever those things, castanets. Like, hey, look at my protein shake. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, no, this was just, I think it was just, I had an empty stomach. I hadn't worked out in a week and I tried my best and it was terrible. I just had saltines for 24 hours. My veins were the size of thread when they're normally like pipe cleaner size. So I was in a mess. I always say like, gosh, I wish I had a buddy close with an IV and just like put it in. We say that too. We've said that before in the past. Like one of us had, normal saline IV, we'd be fine. But anyway, I was okay. I had a day off, but not a day that I wanted off because all I did was lay in a bed in the fetal position.
Feel like crap,
yeah, and feel like crap, and the whole day went by. I just laid there. You didn't have enough energy to even watch TV or anything. But 48 hours later, I was 100%. But yeah, food poisoning. Some people don't have that, by the way, and I'm jealous of them.
What, don't have food poisoning?
Like ever in their life. Like there's a couple people, they throw up as a kid, but like food poisoning, if you think about it, like I've maybe in my adult life had food poisoning 5 times. But if you think those 5 times maybe were avoided, I would have had it 0 times.
Yeah, I've only been food poisoned once.
Once?
Okay. That I know of. It was actually at a job interview, and I went to this interview the night before the job. It was kind of a pre-interview dinner sort of situation.
Nice.
And it was in kind of a nice restaurant, and I ordered this like shrimp kind of stuff, like some shrimp scampi sort of thing, and it came out and it smelled a little funny, and I was like,
we're in the Midwest.
This is
pretty far away from
I
the
know,
ocean.
and I was like, it's a really nice place. There's no way this is bad, and I ate it, and that evening was rough, and I went to the interview the next day, and I'm sure I was just green and looked awful. And consequently did not get that job. Oh man,
there's nothing worse. Than
at least I'd like to chalk it up to the food poisoning because surely they couldn't resist my charm.
Yeah.
In college, I used to get food poisoning every week, and
I think that's just called drinking.
Yeah,
Shane.
It's drinking. Yeah,
he calls it food poisoning.
Yeah, I call it food poisoning. No. It's a classy way.
Yeah,
the classy way. Of
when I eat a lot of beer, I just feel really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Oh man. Well, anyway, I'm glad I feel better. It's nice to do this after Christmas. Merry Christmas, guys. I guess a merry belated Christmas. Did everybody get what they wanted from Santa, Saint Nick?
Yeah, no, I did great.
Did you?
I don't know
Okay.
about everybody else.
Santa brought me some sweet swag. Yeah.
All right, cool. Sweet swag, huh? Yeah.
He brought me that stuff.
Stepping up his game. All right. Good. All right. Well, I think the first thing we should probably just talk about, get out of the way, is our video game book club, right? We like to say that at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, actually, shoot. Let's plug our little podcast that we already skipped about. So Video Game Dads, where you can find us, go at them.
So you can email us at videogamedads@yahoo.com.
Yep. And
you can check us out on Facebook. It's facebook.com/videogamedads.
And find us on Twitter, Video Game Dads Podcast, or at Video Game Dads Podcast. When on the Twitter, fun, got a couple little replies on the Twitter. That's fun. Twitter's different. I think I'm a little too old for it. But we don't have an Instagram yet. You can find us. Yeah, we already say you can find us on iTunes. What else?
Stitch, Google Play. There's other random sites around that have picked us up too.
Probably Google by now. You could probably Google us more or less and find us. So that's good. We even had some little mock T-shirts made, right? Your wifey made a couple T-shirts.
Yeah, my wife had the idea to have us some T-shirts made. They actually turned out really good. They have the logo on them, And so now we're even more legitimate. And,
and some pins.
We got pins too.
P-E-N-S, not P-I-N-S, just so you know, I guess. Right? Did you ever have the teacher who's always like, it's pens, not pens? I don't say pens, I say pins, no matter what the heck it is. But anyway, these pins look great. And well, I don't know, we'll give them away at... What do you think we'll give them away?
I don't know. I think we'll be going to some conventions, potentially in the next few months.
Do we not want to announce anything yet?
We'll go ahead and announce it. We signed up to attend Super BitCon Oklahoma City the weekend of April 29th and 30th, I believe, if memory serves correctly. So
nice.
If you're anywhere in that vicinity and want to buy some games and or go hang out and look at games or play games or meet people.
I've never been there before.
Or do combinations thereof. We will be there.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. We expect absolutely no one to know us, but that's fun. That's okay.
It'll be okay.
It'll be easier to it'll be easier to explain it. Like the last convention we went to, we just talked about it. We didn't even have a podcast yet or stuff.
Yep.
And we have a podcast and stuff. So what else do you need?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and I think at least for myself, I'm going to bring some excess games from the collection and hopefully do a little bit of trading around and flipping some horse trading.
That's how I'm going to try to trade some stuff.
That'll be good. Yeah. Feel free to always email us anything we talk about, corrections, say we suck, say we're great, say we're just okay, whatever in between. We appreciate it. We got a couple of emails, which we'll get to a little later. But anyway, we can go to our first segment I've tried to go to earlier, our video game book club. So, for those that don't know, our video game book club is kind of self-explanatory, but we pick a video game on a podcast that we play, and we invite our audience to play or check out or see, or just, at the very least, maybe check out some videos of it if you don't have the means or the ability or the time to play it. Because even us, we actually a lot of times will play this before the podcast. Sometimes we don't have time to do it. So last week it was Shane's turn to pick, and he picked...
Friday the 13th.
Woo! Yeah, Friday the 13th for the NES, original NES, which we dogged a little bit, which you can still defend.
Yes.
But we all played it. So
I'm very curious on your guys' opinions. I'm going to start with Adam first. I want to hear your opinions on this.
Yeah, so my opinion on this didn't really change a whole lot.
Oh, man.
This is one of those games that everybody hated it way back in the day. And actually, I was reading some about it online earlier today, and apparently it made GamePro's top 10 worst games of all time at one point. Wow. And I think I might. I don't know if I would put it on the worst 10 of all time, but I didn't like it before. I still don't like it. But it's one of those games that people have gone back to a lot, and they sort of say, oh, it was, this game was just misunderstood in its time, and if you really understand the game and you go back and play it, it's really good. And for the life of me, I cannot find anything that I really like about this one, to be honest.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you don't like about it?
Okay, so there's a lot of things.
Okay.
The first
Give me some.
All right.
Keep in mind, this is kind of his child, so
I know,
be nice.
I'm trying to be nice to
No,
Sam.
you are. It's good. Constructive criticism.
On
a game that's 30 years old.
I get how people can like it. I do.
Okay.
But so the first thing is the music. The music's just... It's not necessarily bad, but it's repetitive. There's about a 10-second loop that just goes over and over and over again, and it does kind of wear on you. And also, when you very first start the game, like literally the first thing it says is light the furnaces with the torch or something. That's got nothing to do with the game.
It doesn't.
Hardly.
Yeah, you don't even mess with it, really.
So even the very first thing in the game is an instruction to do something that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just playing games with you. Maybe that's like a meta game.
Well, sort of. I think that's kind of what it is, or potentially. But I mean, literally, the very first screen, it makes you think that is the purpose of the game. Like, hey, if you light these furnaces, like that's the goal of the story, and it's really not. The goal is to rescue everyone or have survivors and also defeat Jason. And so, there's not a lot of animations in it. It's just there's a map system, and you're constantly going back and checking the map, and you have to check the map because you'll be walking along. Jason will be attacking someone, and then you have to essentially go intercept Jason and keep him from killing the person who's being attacked.
I give it to that. It does. So when you go exploring, it takes away from your exploring, like to try and not that there's much to find, but I think that's why they sort of hide that is that you have to go run and find Jason, and you can't find the stuff. So it's sort of taking it away from that, so then it feels a little bit deeper than what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Sort of. So, but here's the trick with the game, at least from where I thought maybe I was tricking the game, or the way that I played it, at least. And there are different ways that you can play the game. Yeah. But basically, when you know that Jason is attacking someone or in someone's cabin, because there's all these different cabins around, it gives you a timer, and I think it starts like 60 seconds. Then
it gives you down. The dreaded meh, meh, meh.
Yeah, and so you know Jason's getting ready to kill somebody. So if you go to the cabin, just by entering the cabin, you essentially scare Jason off. And they say, thank you for rescuing us, or whatever. I find Jason, there's two ways to fight Jason. You can find him in a cabin, or you can find him in a trail outside of a cabin. So I like to scare him out of the cabins and then try to fight him on the trails outside. I think it's a lot easier to beat that way.
He's actually he's in the cabin. You just have to dig around the cabin.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I don't want to fight him.
You don't want to fight him, so you go duck out.
So I go in, scare him off, and then go back out, and then I try to intercept him on the road.
Okay.
And so basically the game split into, 3 or 4 different days, 3 days, I think. And whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to beat Jason 4 times, 3 times, to actually beat the game. Obviously, I didn't beat him many times.
You have to beat him 3 times.
But yeah, I'm still just not a fan of it. I played this actually quite a bit as a kid and never really could get into it, and I still find myself in the same boat.
Well, that's good. That's better than me, because I never played it before. I was actually, fair to say, I was a kid. I was scared of the cover. I would see it rentable at the old Blockbuster Entertainment Center, and I was like, no, I'll just stick with Contra or whatever.
Yeah.
So I never played it until now. So it's, first, this sounds terrible. It's playable.
It is playable.
So, sorry, that sounds terrible, because I'm like, hey, you can play the game. But there are some games that we call broken, which broken is like, you move left, he doesn't even move correctly. You can jump over the enemies. It's not like an automatic kill. It's got this weird quasi first person thing. When you get in the cabin, it kind of parallax
over the
scrolls,
shoulder,
but it scrolls a little bit. So you're kind of like, if you want to move left, you move left. It's, it's the NES. It's pretty rudimentary graphics. How about this? It's different. It's different than any NES game I ever played. The overworld part, unlike, say, like a Zelda or something where you can hop back in the map, it's it's not very large. You're kind of going in a big circle. I do like there's some sort of like day-night cycle. That's cool.
The cabins turn different. Yeah, during the day they're different than in the night. Yeah.
So, and you knew how to play it. Like while I watched you play it, like you knew exactly what to do and how to do it. Which this is a good game of probably the era of, if you liked it, you liked it back then. So Shane, try to imagine. This is your game, you picked it, but try to imagine I picked it and you've never played it. Yeah. And now imagine never playing this game and picking it up. I mean, is this all nostalgia for you? You think that this is a good game?
No, I still think it's a good game. I still play it once a year. When I go back and play it, I still like the aspect of...
Yeah, but that's because you have the memory of it. But imagine going to it dry.
Dry? I still love it.
Okay.
It's still great.
You're passing all the tests.
Yeah.
Love it no matter what.
Love it no matter what. It's one of my favorite NES games. I don't know why, but I like how it's got different aspects with each character. It's got different characters you could pick from 5 or 6. There's some that are slow. There's some that throw their rocks quicker than others.
Which in real life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would throw my rock not as far as you, Shane. I'm sure.
And then it's got, you could get weapon upgrades. Like, I always hate it when the game doesn't have, like, weapon upgrades and you're using the same weapon the whole time.
Yeah.
So, but then there's also an aspect of, okay, if a person gets a knife, I always run to a cabin and try to train out my people so then I could get the other person to get another knife. So you try to build up everybody. And then when you go on later on in the game, you end up, I always like using the crummier people to walk around. So if there's some cheap hits, that's a lot of problem with the game is that there is some cheap hits. Like when you're in the rowboat and Jason comes after you, he hits you. There's nothing that you could do. He just hits you. So my always thing was run with a crummy person, and if his energy goes down, he dies, whatever. Save your best person for last, pretty much.
Okay, so you've developed your strategy over years of playing.
If you could get that system down, I think it makes it more of an enjoyable game. So
I think the best way to play this is fly Shane to your house and watch him play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he knows what he's doing. So that's the way to play this game. Shane, what is your availability?
Wide open. Fly me
Yeah,
out.
so I did a little bit of looking around.
With
The ga-
3 kids, he'll come on.
The game currently goes for $10 or thereabouts.
Hey, that's cheap.
It was published by LJN, which is kind of notorious for
Crummy games.
Yeah, publishing poop.
Yeah.
And it was developed by Atlas, actually, which is kind of surprising. This may be the worst Atlas game.
I'm not surprised Atlas messed with it. I mean, developed
Yeah,
it. I mean,
it-
it's awesome.
So
That's good. No, so far this is good. This is our first pick that's
but to me,
a little polarizing.
So when you get online and you read about this, you watch YouTube videos on it. There are a lot of people on there who are like, it's almost like if you go to a wine tasting or whatever, and there's people like, oh, well, you just must not understand the wine, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot about the same way about this game. Like, there's a lot of people telling me that, oh, it's really good, if you just kind of
So
get
it a
it.
chance.
Shane's
And
the lady in the fur coat.
I guess, yeah. Like, I'm just, just poor bit of me. I guess I'm just not good
Yeah,
enough to really.
that's the problem. You're
to really
swallowing the
understand.
wine, Adam.
Yeah.
You should spit it out.
Yeah.
That's right. You're supposed to look at it on the side of the glass.
And spit in a big bucket. in
Yeah,
front
eat a
of
little bit of
people.
grass, to
Yeah.
get the.
Have you
get the
guys ever
tones in your
been, not
mouth
to
and
change
then
the
do it.
subject, have you guys ever been to like a legit wine tasting?
I've been to
Not
I've been to
like CVS.
I've been
CVS
invited
has
to them, but I avoid them. I'm kind of scared of it, actually.
I've been to Herman, Missouri, which is like
Yeah,
the whole
Herman.
town is just wineries, and I'm a beer guy. I'm a craft beer guy, but I enjoyed it. I mean, but I wasn't spitting out wine. I'm sitting there drinking the thing and getting
Yeah,
drunk.
yeah. Well, if you have enough tastings, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Herman, Missouri. So those who don't know, which probably you don't.
don't.
Herman, Missouri is a small town right in the middle, right in
Yeah.
the middle, of Missouri, or kind of 3/4 of the way
Yeah,
to
yeah,
St.
I'd say-
Louis.
yep. Mhm.
Silly old St. Louis.
Yeah.
That city, it's just basically a wine town. Has a whole bunch of
Wineries and
You could
some
take the
breweries.
train there, the Amtrak there,
Yep.
and generally what we would do is we drink on the way there.
Yeah.
All day and then show up, stay the night, because we actually did the train there and back the same day the last time we went. Do not recommend that, because when you come back, then you are like sick, just kind of like,
Yeah.
everybody's warm and hot and you spent the whole day out. But they have, they have some wineries. I don't want to dog Herman. I don't think they'll ever be a sponsor of our show. I went to Napa before randomly just because it's a different story. I was in San Francisco with my half brother from overseas, and I twisted my ankle. We needed to find something to do, so we ended up doing a wine tour because I could be kind of carted around. And so I randomly went on, and it was the best day ever. It was like $80, and they pick you up from your hotel in San Francisco, and you go and check out like 3 wineries. They feed you lunch. You're there with 10 people, and they ship you out there the whole time. It was great. And then I went to Herman, Missouri, and the wine there. Again, I'm not a wine snob, but I'm like, it tastes like boxed wine.
Man, maybe I'm having different experiences than you guys, because Herman, Missouri is great.
I like no. I like Herman, Missouri. Don't get me wrong. I like Herman, Missouri. I think the wine that they are serving is like.
There's some okay ones.
I think it's like cheap. It tastes like just $5. Like it tastes like the wine that I buy, which is like $4, $5 wine.
I may be jaded though, because I drink a lot.
You're drinking the Franzia, the big bag,
Yeah.
like a gallon.
The box wine every
you
night.
probably have a bag hanging in the corner of your kitchen that you just nuzzle up.
Dude,
to
I
every
think
now and then.
Franzia is better than half the stuff in Herman. I'm just saying.
boy.
I like Herman. No. Now, will I
boy.
go back? Yes, I loved Herman, but the whole like thing that again, these are grapes, right? Grapes have to be controlled. These are grapes in Missouri. The climates of Missouri
Yeah.
is not a good place to
The
grow.
feet are much dirtier in Central Missouri than
Yeah. Oh God, like that wonderful video. Remember the lady who falls off when she's the newscast? Come on, you guys.
No,
you
I've
guys don't
seen
know
it.
that.
Yeah, no, I saw. A
Yeah,
photo
how
of
she,
it,
yeah.
I guess you could compare Herman, Missouri to like Disneyland compared to what's the place down in Missouri also the
Silver Dollar City.
yeah, it's like Silver
yeah,
Dollar
yeah.
City. Yep, you
I
can
would-
do it like
I would
that.
say
Silver
that-
Dollar City does have better taffy than Disneyland, however.
Oh.
And Silver City's got some legit roller coasters.
Yeah,
like
it does,
real
actually.
legit. They've actually got the first one that's wooden that actually goes upside down. So
It's no Disneyland though.
I would say it's more like between Worlds of Fun, which is another even smaller one, and between Disney World. It's fine. I like going. I'm going to go back. I'm just saying though, the whole thing about the wine. I think a big sell is all these people in Missouri haven't maybe had better wine, and it tastes fine. I'm not a wine snob. I'm not.
man.
I don't even drink it very often.
Yeah, I don't know anything about wine. I know there's red ones and white ones.
Yeah.
and I know the red ones give me a headache even if I have a teaspoon of it. So
Did you guys
I
know that there's wine tastings at CVS Pharmacy?
Oh, really?
Yeah, look at him nodding his head. So Shane knows about it. But Adam, it's kind of hilarious because you know who goes there?
The people who have problems.
No. It's really kind of cute. It's kind of cute. The people, and of course, I show up there and I'm getting like Band-Aids or something, normal stuff you get in a pharmacy, and they have a wine tasting, and there's this. They're basically like, like 70-year-olds, and this is their nice outing for the night because the wine tasting isn't too late at night. It's like 6:30 p.m.
So CVS really wants a 70-year-old falling down in their store and breaking a hip.
Hey, I guess so. I'm sure they have to sign a waiver or something like that. But if they need anything, it's in aisle 4.
Yeah.
They probably put them in a wheelchair, take them to the edge of the CVS property, and then load them into their car or whatever.
I just think it's kind of funny. But
No,
anyway,
I've not heard that.
so that was a nice aside from Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But so I think it's a playable game. It's not my cup of tea. I think it is a game that you would have to get good at and like. I think it's worth people giving a shot, like you said.
Yeah, for that price point, I mean, you could realistically find that for $5 somewhere. I mean, that's a good game for $5. Even, I mean, just to throw on a shelf.
Sure.
What's
your since you picked it and you love it, what's your favorite part of the game? Pick a part.
I love fighting Jason in the cabin because I love having to dodge it. It's almost like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It's sort of like a switch or a fast twitch. Like you have to move really quick to miss his punches. Yeah. So I really like that. Mm-hmm. And I love the graphics. I love how he's purple. It's just it's not him, but it is. It's cool. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mind the graphics. I mean, the characters are sort of lame. You got some zombies. You got birds, dogs.
It was a great Christmas pick too, Shane.
Yeah.
We
didn't have an episode during Halloween. We weren't even in existence. So that's fine. We'll pick a Christmas one come April.
All right. Well, speaking of new picks, I think it's my turn, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So the way we do this, we rotate around. We would love, FYI, before Adam releases his pick for us to know, which I don't... Oh, we might know. We would love for some people to take part in the Video Game Book Club and give us some suggestions. And there's a good chance that if your suggestion of the system we're moving on to now, which can be at this point between NES and the Sega Genesis, any game that you felt was maybe overlooked, a game that you really liked, a game that maybe was one that fell off the radar, make your case and plead it, and likely.
I mean, I picked Friday the 13th.
There's a chance
we can't go.
Yeah, it'll be featured on our next Video Game Book Club. Okay, Adam.
All right, so for the Genesis, we're going to play Shinobi 3.
Yes.
For the next podcast.
Okay.
And, Shinobi's a lot of people talk about Shinobi. I don't think a lot of people actually played Shinobi.
I have Shinobi 3, and I have never played it.
Yeah, Shinobi 3 is awesome.
Yes. Adam, give us a backstory. What is Shinobi?
So it is a Japanese word, I think.
Stands for a whale's. Oh.
Yeah, I have no idea what it means, but it has something to do with ninjas, I would bet, because it's a ninja game.
Okay, a ninja game. Ninja Gaiden is probably a little bit more famous, but Shinobi's probably right there.
Yeah. Well, I think it started life as an arcade game and then kind of came over to consoles because there's Shinobi's on a Master System. And
yeah, I played it on the Game Gear when I was a kid.
Yeah, Game Gear,
I
Genesis,
loved it on there.
Saturn has Shinobi. Shinobi 3 is really good. It's it's a sprite-based, side-scrolling action kind of thing.
If you guys didn't notice, we almost had to use our first curse word bleep. Did you realize that? You almost said the S word, right?
Shinobi?
Yeah, no, after Shinobi. Shinobi's got a good... And I thought you were going to say a cuss word.
No, it was only Shinobi.
So we are a family-friendly podcast. You can listen to this with kids. But if we accidentally ever slip, eventually we're going to have a curse word bleeper. And who's editing the podcast this week?
We can actually just bleep things just Shane. Like...
I know. Let's do it now. Okay, so we're going to...
Wasn't it Jimmy Kimmel that had the segment on his show where they would just bleep stuff randomly just because it sounded funny? We could do that.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Let's do it right now. Ready? Go Gadget. Hey, I saw. Oh, yeah. Now watch. If you in editing don't actually add a bleep in there, I'm going to be upset. But anyway, sorry, Adam.
All right. So, so we'll play Shinobi. It's kind of akin to if it's in the same vein of things as like the Ninja Turtles arcade game and
cool.
And that kind of stuff. So if you like those kind of games, you'll like Shinobi 3.
Cool. And is 3 like the better one, or is 3 the only one for Genesis?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
Does it play sort of like Rolling Thunder? Sorry.
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
But Of the Shinobis I've played, it's probably my favorite.
Oh,
one.
good, good. I'd be excited to play because I have not played it.
Yeah,
I
and
played
I'm
Shinobi.
I'm not a Shinobi connoisseur so by any stretch. So, feel free to destroy me in an email if Shinobi 3 is like the worst one or something. But
I'm gonna play the crap out of it.
Yeah, but
I'm excited.
But I played quite a bit of it here a few months back, and it's legitimately
Pretty good. And a pricey game? No, yes. If people want to try to pick it up,
honestly, I have no idea what it goes for.
I don't think it's crazy, but I don't think
I think it's like
cheap.
20. I think it's like $20-30.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
some $30
like that.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decent
That's what I
price.
want to say at least. But I don't know if that's true.
okay.
All right.
All right. So for our episode 4 video game, video game book club, our choice is Shinobi 3 for the Sega Genesis, and that is Adam's pick. So play it, guys, and we will talk about it next week.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So we move on now to just some of our collecting habits or things that we've been picking up here lately. I can go first, I suppose.
Do it.
So I had the day off of work today, so I ran around town and spent too much money and picked up some
Where
games.
are the kiddo?
Oh, the wife and child.
The wife and child.
So they're still down with the in-laws.
Oh.
And it's not because we're getting a divorce.
I didn't even allude to that. I was just realizing, we came down here and it's like super quiet.
No, they've stayed with. I'm working solid through the new year
Weekend,
and over the weekend and everything else. So they're going to stay down there, and I'm going to go down there next weekend, and I'm off the next week. So they
nice.
basically are just. I'm going to be gone the whole time, so they're just down there.
Gotcha.
For the
Okay.
time being. But anyway, where was I at? Oh, collecting. So ran around town today, picked up a few things. Actually went to Vintage Stock, which is kind of a local chain or a regional chain, I guess.
Yeah.
Old video games and stuff. And they had a ton of really rare, really nice games in this particular Vintage Stock. And I actually picked up Kid Clown and Princess Tomato.
Ooh.
Cool.
Nice.
And these are VHSs for children?
These are Nintendo tapes.
Oh, okay.
For the NES.
Nintendo tapes.
Yeah,
I just heard a grown man say Kid Clown and what was the other one?
Princess Tomato.
Princess Tomato. Okay.
Yeah. So they're completely appropriate for people in their 30s.
Yeah, completely.
But I've actually Princess Tomato was just kind of a nice find, I suppose. I really don't know much about that one. In all honesty, I know it's one that people
Dang
talk
it.
about.
I was hoping you'd fill me in.
No, I really don't know much about it. I'm gonna have to play it and find out. But I think it's kind of a side-scrolling platformer type game. And then Kid Clown, I think, is kind of the same thing. But Kid Clown's got this like really goofy, weird artwork, and it's actually a really sought-after game anymore. So I was happy to get both those.
I actually want to play that game.
And then cool. I got just a whole lot of NES filler, just to kind of. Cool. Round out the collection I got.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good collection. So again, those first-time listeners, maybe we are, dads first, collectors second, husbands actually second.
No, husband comes before collector.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say husband 1.5 and then 2. You guys didn't let me finish. I was gonna actually cover myself.
Okay.
If you guys would have given me a shot, but I had to realize that too. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, we would have saved you.
Yeah. So if you didn't figure that out with our name, Video Game Dads Podcast, and you thought this is an auto talk show, you're in for a rude awakening. But anyway, all right. So anyway. Go ahead.
So at any rate, I picked up a bunch of other NES games or several others. I got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which there's actually 2 versions of. There's a licensed and an unlicensed version. I got the licensed version because I already had the unlicensed one. I got the Young Indiana Jones. So I got both.
Is that based off cartoon or TV series?
Movie, because it was the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
The one of them, and then the other one was the Young Indy, which is the TV show.
Young Indy, yeah. Is a TV show? Was that a cartoon or live action?
No, that was live action.
It
was.
It actually used to be on Netflix. I think.
swear they had an Indiana Jones cartoon at one
They
point.
probably did.
I think
No.
they.
I don't know if they did actually.
think they
I don't
kinda did.
recall one if they did. And I got the game Tailspin.
Ooh,
Great
that'd be
series.
good,
So
Laura loves that. My wife loves Tailspin.
yeah, and I didn't have that surprisingly, and I that was my jam. Those old after school cartoons.
Yeah.
But no, like DuckTales and then Tailspin. Yeah, Launchpad McQuack. I think he was the crossover character actually. Between
he
the two.
was.
Dude,
Yeah.
Launchpad, yeah.
And so like those, and then when Darkwing Duck came out, and I actually have Darkwing Duck already too. So now I kind of have my afternoon cartoon collection NES game thing.
Cool, yeah.
now. So all those were kind of cool. And then I finally sat down and made a spreadsheet of all the Wii U releases, at least that I know of. I compiled some stuff from different places. Nobody seemingly has a complete list. There's around 160 games, give or take a little bit. And there's some special editions and label variants and so forth. But there's about 160 games. I have 105 now.
All right.
So I picked up a couple extras. Skylanders Swap Team, I think it is.
Oh,
Swap
boy.
Force.
Swap Force, I'm sorry.
That
Obviously, I
looks
know
like
a
a
lot
pile.
about. Yeah, I'm sure it's bad.
Of fun.
But that and Mario at Ultra Tennis Smash and
So that's one of your goals, right? Trying to collect.
yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
complete the collection. So I don't have a complete collection for any system, but there's
But
such
you have a
low-
lot of games.
Yeah, so there's such a low number of Wii U games, and they're relatively cheap right now because it is I guess it's a dead system at this point.
Yeah,
but,
it's
but at
dead.
any rate, people are liquidating, and so you can get online and you can get these games really cheap right now.
So you'll get them all in good
Yeah.
condition.
And
too.
I basically have all the rare ones pretty much, except Barbie Dreamhouse I don't have, which I don't really want to
Because
buy.
if you bought
but-
Barbie Dreamhouse with like Tomato Woman and
Yeah.
the other one, all three.
I'm coming over to your house,
but
kicking down your door and pulling your man
that's,
card.
that's I think the rarest one that I still don't have.
But is this for your little girl? And it's like, I have a boy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but the crazy thing about that game, it's already up to like $80 or $90 because everybody knows
man.
it's
Oh,
rare.
my
You know,
gosh.
the system's not even dead yet, and that game's already expensive.
So Barbie games are notorious for like becoming kind of collectible because they don't probably sell that well on any system.
Well, and they
right?
give them you give them to little kids, and they end up in the garbage or
Yeah,
thrown
keep them.
out or destroyed. So yeah, they. So I got to buy a Barbie game. And another one of the rare games, which is kind of weird, is that I don't have is NBA 2K13. Like a sports game is actually one of the
Yeah,
more
'cause they didn't make
expensive
too many
and rare
sports games.
No, it was a launch game, and they didn't. It was a low print run, and I think they only did one printing.
Interesting.
and,
I like hearing about that stuff. Like
yeah.
what was low print, what wasn't, that kind of thing. It's kind
Yeah,
of cool.
That was probably the problem with the Wii U's. They didn't get that.
Yeah,
third-party
so there
support
are.
like
I mean,
EA
every now and
stuff.
then you will find a sports game that actually is very expensive because of rarity. That's one. NCAA basketball 2K3 for the GameCube actually is one of the rarest and
Oh,
more
yep.
expensive GameCube games. And I don't have that one either. But yeah, every now and then you run across one that's really rare and hard to come by. Tecmo Soccer for NES is rare and expensive as well.
You pick up anything? Shane?
I've been taking a back seat. I haven't been really collecting anything. I did pick up a few amiibos.
And you're the thrift guy, so it's cold.
It's cold, so it's really slow for me right now. I like to do a lot of garage sales and stuff. So
But you said amiibo, man. What are you up to now?
all of them. all.
Look at you over there. So how many is all? I have no idea.
Man, I want to say 100.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, 90, 100. I count it every month or so, and I always forget. But I think it's around 100 right now.
Wow.
There's really not too many being released right now, so that's good. I'm hoping they just like kill it and name it something
They're not going
else.
to kill it. I keep telling you this. When the Switch comes out,
please
the
do it,
amiibos
Nintendo.
are only going to accelerate.
Please, Nintendo.
And don't get your amiibos wet after midnight, or,
they multiply?
or feed them. No, they get more evil, and then they take over towns and kill people.
Don't say that because someone's going to go do that. No. If you want to see Shane's wall of amiibo, you can see it on our Facebook
Yeah.
page,
Yeah.
videogamedads.com/Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Facebook,
I
oh,
said it
throw
wrong.
me under the bus.
Facebook.com/videogamedads.
I know. I was giving
Yeah.
Shane some crap because last
Less,
week we were burning the midnight oil at that point.
I think we
Actually-
kind of are right now too. Actually,
Now that I remember, I didn't even, usually I text these guys if I find something. I did go to Salvation Army and I found 3 games. I found,
did you steal these from a homeless person?
I did find 3 games. I found Pikmin for GameCube for $4. I found,
That's a good one.
I think it's called Egg Master or Egg something for Xbox. It looks cool, sort of like a puzzle game. I found it for $4, and then the other one was Guilty Gear X2 Reloaded. It's a
Okay.
fighting game. That looks really awesome. I really want to play it.
Yeah, those Guilty Gear games in general are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good.
And the thing is, I don't feel like that's all that popular a series. I think maybe that's bigger over in Japan than
Yeah.
it is here. But they're cool games.
yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
But that's really about all I've picked up. I've been pretty lame so far. Been
Yeah.
trying to get some deals, but they've been getting bought up on Craigslist and stuff. So.
Sure.
Well, seems like here lately, everybody thinks their stuff's worth more than eBay.
Yeah, it's just getting really hard to collect.
Yeah.
For me, the way I do it, it's getting really hard to collect anymore. But I'm fine with it. My collection's good. So
Yeah. We've all been, collecting for a long time, so we have a good library between us, which is why, kind of that's what brought us together and got us to talk about this stuff. And, we each kind of know different parts of this hobby better than others and things like that, so we help each other out.
What's sort of the good thing, though, it's been sort of making me play these games a little bit more. I mean, I've been popping in random games, not for long, because if the kids want to do something or something, but I pop in a game for 5 or 10 minutes to actually try out a game, so that's really cool.
That is something. So Shane has 3 kids, three and under, or how old's Lexi?
She's 3.
She's 3.
3.
Okay. What would you suggest as far as like a good 5-10 minute game? Do you go I'm just thinking about it. Like if you're saying you could play a game for 5 minutes, what game is that?
5 minutes. I always pick something. I always like a platformer, even though you can't get that far on there. I'm sorry, I'm being really vague, but I always pick like a platformer or a beat 'em up, and I think that started what I'm being leaning towards anymore, or a shoot 'em up. I go towards those just because I could get to
They're
it.
Quick.
Yeah, real quick, and I could get to like level 2 or 3, and I know where I'm. I get there and then I call it quits, or at least I have it in my head where I could get to.
Yeah, because you can't really put on the whole VR set.
Yeah, no, you can't do VR.
Yeah,
but I usually tend towards beat 'em ups a lot too. So
okay, cool. Yeah,
that's usually what I stick to.
For me, my little pickups, I guess, would be. My brother-in-law, bless his soul, I'm trying to make custom cases for my video games, and we'll put some pictures up on the Facebook, or there's some on the Twitter, where I'm trying to have these naked carts kind of fit in custom cases, print them out, so they look kind of good, and not just the cartridge by itself, to make it kind of look like the box did originally when it's in the store, so you can kind of pick it up, and they're safe that way. It's a fun little project. But he was able to print out a whole bunch of labels for me.
Yeah,
which is awesome, because otherwise it'd be 42 cents per if I went to go do it myself. So he printed off close to 200 for me. So I'm excited to
that's awesome.
cut those out with my little paper cutter and put them in my little thing. Yeah,
Don't run with your scissors, Benjamin.
I know. So when it's all done, I'll post some more pictures. But it's just kind of nice to make your collection look nice. It's kind of what people do with their music.
Next time we see you, you're
like
going to be all bandaged up and with paper cuts.
Missing a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm gonna coat everything with lemon.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
For the next podcast.
Oh, man.
And we're just gonna watch you cringe.
All right.
Well, one of the cases that you're doing is Virtual Boy, right? And you're using red cases, which I was like, oh, that looks so good.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So
all 19 of them.
So the Virtual Boy, if those don't know, it came out in '95, I think. It's this VR Nintendo failed system.
It was a revolution in gaming.
I liked it. I actually rented it back in the day from Blockbuster, and I picked up a lot of my games from Blockbuster in the bargain bin. They only made 15 games for it. I have basically all of them. And I made it so you can have your DS case. What's funny is boxes for these games cost more than the games itself. If I were to have a box for one of the games called Jack Brothers, just the box, the little cardboard sleeve, I could sell it for probably $200, easy, $250 maybe.
Yep.
The manual, I think, sold for $250, crazy stuff. So you can make it yourself by using the Nintendo DS, a different systems case that's red, which I got off Nintendo.com for they're $1 a piece. Got 15 of them, and if you want to see what those look like, I got that, and I didn't think of that myself. There's a couple guides by some of the guys at the Nintendo forum, Nintendo Age, I think.
Yeah, Nintendo Age.
Nintendo Age.
That's where the hardcore folk hang out.
Yeah, much hardcore than us, but helpful. That and something called the Cover Project. The other thing I did, which you guys I know didn't see, is I saw Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
ooh, how was that?
The movie with Michael Fassbender. Well, just listen to this cast. Okay. Michael Fassbender. Oh, I'm gonna butcher her name. Maria Colchier. The French chick from every movie now recently. The one that supposedly ended Brad Pitt and whatever. I don't. What?
Well, she's in
Inception.
She's Inception. She's in the Batman movies, the Chris Nolan Batman
very good.
movies.
The last Batman movie, she was
in one of the Mummy movies too, wasn't she?
What? No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, never mind.
She's pretty new to this country as far as anyway. Great actress. What I'm getting at, right? Michael Fassbender, her, Michael Ironside which, come on, he's awesome.
Oh yeah, every cool kick-ass '80s movie ever made has that guy.
If you've seen like Die Hard with a Vengeance, he was the evil guy there. If that helps. He was the brother of the guy who died.
He's in Iron Eagle,
okay.
I think, from the '80s. I'm pretty sure that's the name of that movie.
I don't know.
It was like this Top Gun ripoff. Or
Oh
okay.
yeah, Iron Eagle,
what I'm talking
man.
about?
Yeah,
it's
I remember
great.
that,
Like that movie. I don't think it has any Kenny Loggins in it. But aside from the dangerous lack of Kenny Loggins music,
it's
great
not
movie.
bad. Yeah,
Huh.
it's not bad.
I have not heard of it. I must check it
Oh
out.
boy, you gotta check that out.
So who else? So those actors. The guy. I forget his name. Shoot. I can't remember. He's from an age. Anyway, great. They have a great cast, right? I wish I liked the movie. Oh man, because I like the series. I just unfortunately wasn't very good. Yeah. So
How did they cut it? Was it really dark and gritty, or what? How
No,
is it?
it's actually just not. It's hard for me to say. It's not very good. So they don't go into much depth of the characters. The script is poor. It's also really kind of slow and boring. For
Yeah.
perspective, I was excited about this movie. I fell asleep for about 10 minutes at one point
Oh, wow.
because of the way they kind of talk back and forth. It's pretty slow and monotonous, and there's a lot of mystery behind it. So they show in the opening like Michael Fassbender is going to be executed for some sort of crime.
Yeah.
No spoilers here. This is all trailer stuff. He's executed for a crime, but really he's not. So he goes to this Abstergo, which is part of the games where if you have some sort of blood ties to somebody important in the past, they can harness that due to your ancestry and then have you relive the ancestry. But what's weird about the movie is in the game, you can play the game, right? You can do what you want. In the movie, as soon as he's plugged into this thing, this kind of quasi-matrix avatar, basically, kind of deal, we're in an alternate world, he then doesn't control anything. He just does all the actions. But then he's doing all the actions with this like umbilical cord strapped to his back and his neck. And he's doing all this, in real time. So they'll cut back for him, like doing all this cool Assassin's Creed, like ninja stuff. And then they'll cut back to the real life. And, it'll be a cool moment when he's jumping. But, like, he's doing a lot of stuff in the Animus, like riding horses.
Yeah.
So can you imagine Michael Fassbender, like, fake ride? They don't cut to that part where he's in real life. So some of it doesn't make sense. Or he walks more than 10 feet. What happens? Because the umbilical.
There's probably an alternate Blu-ray version now that'll come out.
It's just, unfortunately, like, okay, so it's not a bad movie. It's just not memorable. The action scenes are probably the best part of it, and those are just okay. I felt like I think this could have been better as a TV series instead of a movie because they had to establish it.
It would be like, I think they already did that TV series. It was called Quantum Leap.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If they
Like
would
a
have
cheap Quantum Leap.
I love Quantum Leap.
They could have that dude. Whatever happened to that guy? with
Dennis
his-
Quaid?
No, the guy Ziggy. The little
Ziggy,
Sam.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ziggy,
yeah,
and he'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
boop, boop, boop. There's a some probability that if you do this, something bad will happen. And that's a great show, actually.
Yeah, dude.
Quantum Leap.
I
should have just stayed home and watched Quantum Leap.
I should have. They, who knows what they're going to do if they can like fix it, because Fast and the Furious, who knew that would have been a thing by now? If you look back on it, that was such a time and place thing. I don't. Do you guys not like those? I like those movies.
I like him. I like him
yeah.
the very first ones. Then as it goes, I think they get horrible.
Really?
Yes.
Fast 5? Are you kidding me?
Horrible.
Have you watched Fast 5?
Horrible.
There's a
God awful.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like my movies where they're like jumping off of stuff, super unrealistic. Like when they're not superheroes. Like it doesn't make sense.
So any action movie. Okay. Well,
sort of. I mean, you can still make an action movie and make it real, sort of.
in the last one, there's a part where The Rock flexes his cast off and says, "Daddy's got to go to work." That's amazing.
Cool. That's cool.
That's
yeah.
awesome. No,
But when you
All right.
jump off a cliff and then you go hover
I've
into
seen
another
the
car and
first
then you
one.
land the car, no, I'm good.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
yeah,
Okay.
I just skipped that
Well,
on the whole thing.
you guys know these things are phenomenal. Like they make so
Oh,
much
I know.
money.
They make a ton of money.
like Star Wars
Yeah.
type money. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Worldwide too. I mean, they're popular. And
I
unfortunately,
did
Paul
go
Walker
see
died.
I saw Rogue One this week.
Ooh.
Oh,
Rogue
okay.
One. Did you guys see Rogue One?
No,
I haven't seen it yet.
Super good.
I'm going
I
to.
really, really liked it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've heard good things.
So, and maybe or maybe not, but I actually liked it a lot more than I did episode 7.
Really?
So
Yeah, cool.
So yeah,
I still haven't seen 7, so
I mean,
yeah.
I think
I'm
I like it
behind.
as much as I do the old ones, like the episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Huh,
So
good.
it's super good.
I've heard good things. Yes, people who also didn't like it, and the ones who are kind of the Star Wars nerds really like it too. So that's cool. I haven't seen it, but
I seen Turok, our buddy Turok, or I guess my buddy. I'll call him my buddy now too.
it's your
Turok.
buddy too.
My
yeah.
buddy
buddy.
too. My buddy.
Turok,
My
and he's
buddy.
not Dinosaur Hunter. He's our friend with the last name Turok. So because his name is so cool, we call him Turok.
I would like to think that if dinosaurs still exist, that he would hunt them.
He would. He would.
He's too nice. You
Yeah,
guys know
he'd
this
be
guy,
like,
right?
No, I don't know him.
He's also in
I-
healthcare. Like
Yeah.
swore a hippopotamus oath. What the heck am I saying? Hippocratic oath.
Yeah, hippopotamus oath's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Turok isn't slaying dinosaurs. He's gonna.
No, he's
help
not.
him
He's
out.
going to help him out. He's
Yeah.
going to fix him. But he'll hang out with the cave women in the cave, so he knows what's up. He
Yeah,
knows what's
for
what.
show.
Yeah. But anyway, I saw that. Unfortunately, I was so stoked. I also went with a buddy who loves Assassin's Creed. That's all
games.
he plays. So he's a dad too. He's a
So what'd he think of it then?
would just like us. He's like, dang it, it's
really?
not
He's
very
just like,
good.
eh.
He loves Assassin's Creed, plays all of them, he showed up. We were stoked, and it was just the whole movie. And it was also kind of dark too.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, that's it on that.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on a little bit, talk about what we've been playing and doing here lately as well.
Well, how'd your Christmas go?
I'll talk about Christmas things. My Christmas went really good. I got a Neo Geo Pocket Color actually from my mom.
Ooh.
That's awesome. So
Which
your
was-
mom bought you that.
Yeah, my mom bought me.
How did she know you wanted that?
I kind of might have told her, because I'm kind of hard to buy for. And so, I mean, it's all like, yeah, a video game, but then they don't know if I have it or if it's something I really want. So I kind of gave her a small list of various things that I would really like. But she actually went a little above and beyond because she bought a boxed, unopened, brand new Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Oh wow.
So
That's
Please
great.
tell me you're opening it.
I already did.
Yes. Good job.
So
Tell us about the system.
it's really neat. So the Neo Geo Pocket was the first one, and then the Pocket Color came out like just a year later or so.
Okay, portable device.
Portable device, and it's a lot like the Game Boy Advance as far as graphics capabilities and the way that it looks, and it's primarily sprite based, kind of Super Nintendo esque kind of stuff. Yeah. It's not backlit.
That's
so
what I was gonna ask. Is that one backlit?
no, it's kind of like the original Game Boy Advance was, but they have scaled down versions of all the Neo Geo games for the most part for it, and things like Metal Slug or Neo Turf Masters, or there's a couple of there's one or two Sonic games for it.
Cool.
You can actually connect it to a Dreamcast on a few of the games.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't
some,
know that.
Yeah, there's some Capcom.
Yes.
Really?
That's true.
Yeah, there's some Capcom versus SNK games. There's
That's
like
awesome.
there's like these card fighting games that you can unlock things by connecting them to a
Yeah,
Dreamcast.
yeah. For me, I don't know the specifics of it.
I
but
don't
yeah.
either. It sounds like voodoo and hocus pocus, but
Yeah,
I'm
it makes you remember how old the Dreamcast is if it was working with that thing.
yeah.
No
So
doubt.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So at any rate, so the Neo Geo Pocket Color, it's legitimately pretty cool. The only game I have for it is a like a casino game or whatever. So it's
Oh no! Do you know what's funny? The only game I have is a casino game.
yeah.
I was gonna say, hey, randomly you can borrow the one game I have.
Yeah.
Is it? What is it called? It's called. Yeah, it's just a little.
It's
casino
I don't know. This
card.
one's called a bunch of Japanese letters that I don't know.
Oh, well,
So
this one's the
that-
English version of it.
Yeah, no, this one has some English in it. Like you can turn English text on, but I have no idea what the actual name of it is because it's all in Japanese. So it's a casino game. That's what I know about it. So I've ordered a couple of games. I ordered Metal Slug and Neo Turf Masters, and I'm looking forward to playing both of those.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to
fun
check it out. And you opened it, right? So I
Oh,
should,
yeah.
Yeah, I want to check it out after this. Cool.
All right, so yeah, I got that, and then kind of, that was most of my video game stuff. We actually took VR down home with us, and God, I could not get my family off the thing. It was like cocaine. Everybody was just like there was somebody in the helmet all the time. Couldn't get them out.
Cocaine.
Awesome. And this is all like
For 2 days straight, that helmet was on somebody's
these are
head.
like old people, young people, just your whole family.
Everybody, and
Yeah.
and all the cousins, relatives, mom, dad, everything, everybody else. So we kind of started them out on some of the demo stuff, but they actually play like all the way through the Batman game
cool.
and good chunks of other games too.
Cool.
So I actually didn't play it at all the whole time I was there because it was always on somebody else's head, and I was like, I'll play it later.
Awesome. Did
But,
some of the older people play?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Like pretty much everybody did, except the people who thought that they would get too motion sicky. so they didn't. But yeah, everybody played it and enjoyed it and really liked it. You know, that was about it for video game related stuff. I mean, my kid got a butt ton of toys.
Yeah.
And
what did he get? How old's your kid again?
He's 3. 3
Okay.
years old, and the grandparents just
spoil.
yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. They never bought us stuff that cool, but they just buy him tons of stuff. And my in-laws bought him a roller coaster. It's like a plastic roller coaster that you
They
put
won
together.
up me.
Yeah, how do I beat that?
Yeah.
Like now I'm even lamer than I was before Christmas because I didn't give him a roller coaster. So
Is that thing staying in Oklahoma, or are you bringing it up here?
it's staying down there because it's too big. But he just runs out. Like he literally runs on that thing and pushes the thing up and goes down until he just passes out in the yard and falls asleep.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great
You
deal.
know,
He
invest in
loves
one
it,
here.
and then he also got this cool block tower. Like I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're those big like cardboard blocks.
Yeah.
They're like a foot long and like 6 inches wide and a couple like 3 inches deep or so.
Like
They're
a Jenga piece? I don't know.
Kind of. They're just these big blocks that you make out of cardboard. But at any rate, he got some of those. You could stack them to the ceiling, and so he spent like a good solid day just stacking those things up and then Godzillaing across the room and you know, taking out Tokyo. You know,
Awesome.
And so he loves those things. Then he got this little crane that he sets on, and it's like you set on it, and it's got a little neck on it that you can
Dig at stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
dig up leaves, dig up dirt, and all that
Awesome.
kind of stuff. So he's
good.
outside. He's either on the roller coaster or playing with that thing. So he made out like a bandit, and he got several other toys as well. But he it's just a little bit. I mean, it's so crazy that he gets so much stuff from grandparents and everybody that we physically can't get it into the vehicle to get it home.
Yeah. Is he the only grandchild of these grandparents?
He was until this year. So
Okay.
I have a brother who just had a baby, and so I'm hoping that some of this gets
Yeah.
diluted out
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a first world problem. Like I get it, you know. But
Yeah.
but
My child has too many
To get that,
toys.
yeah, it's cool to get that many toys, but then it just starts piling up, and it's like maybe we should just start saving money back. Like maybe give them some money, or so we'll save it back for the child instead of like all these toys that they're never gonna play
Yeah,
with. This is too much.
I
sometimes.
saw you. So I went to your house to pick you up. So we do this in Adam's basement, and Shane and I kind of carpool together over here in the burbs.
in the burbs.
We're kind of burby too, but we're the other burbs.
Yeah.
we're all far apart. So we make this podcast come together through some travel, and I picked you up.
Yeah.
And Lexi was playing her. I'm going to talk about the toy she was playing, not her current condition.
Oh,
You
boy.
could talk about that if you want to,
Yeah.
but she was on playing this like little roller coaster thing
Yeah.
too. So she obviously made out like a bandit.
Yeah, she did. She did very well too. Christmas is like really great for us this year. I was sort of Debbie Downer just because money was a little bit tighter this year than normal.
Yeah.
and I was being sort of a grump, and then finally my wife's like, "Quit being a grump. Let's do this thing." And then after she said that, I sort of got back on track and ended up being a really great Christmas. The kids got really good stuff, and I got good stuff. Beth got good stuff, but one of the toys that Lexi got was a little roller coaster. It's sort of like Grayson's Adam's son toy, but it's sort of a little bit longer track, and it goes up and down and kicks her across the carpet. But we put it straight in the living room, so as we're watching TV, it's like.
Oh, see,
So she just scoots in front of the TV, so we'll see her head every once in a while, and it'll go across, and we're like, "Oh man!" But she loves it to death.
that's good. And it makes her run back and
Yeah,
forth.
running back and forth. It's
yeah.
a cool little toy. We did that, and I actually had I don't get to see my family too much. They're sort of spread out and live about 3 or 4 hours away, and it's just hard for them to get up here and stuff. And I did the cooking for 8.
Whoa.
We had 10 people, so I did all the cooking. Beth helped me, of course, but
That's right, Shane. You can cook pretty well. I went to one of your barbecue thingies. What was that? Just a cookout?
yeah, just a cookout. I think
That
it was
was
around
cool.
the 4th a few years ago. I
Yeah, a
think, or
couple of years
something.
ago. That was a lot of fun. You
Yeah.
made a lot of food. I forget. Yeah, barbecue, and you had like scallops or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we had what the heck did we? Hush puppies, and I can't remember.
That's pretty good because the only hush puppies I had is from Long John Silver's.
Thank you for the money.
When I was a picky kid, that's all I had. Yeah, I know. Long John Silver's. Are they still around?
I think everyone that worked for them died of a heart attack.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, it's a good Christmas, man. It's really good.
Cool.
So,
Yeah. Same one here. We just did the same. Like the thing that happens once you have kids is you start to then give other family members who have kids the presents to the kids and less to the other adults. At least that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great idea because it's hard as heck to. I just end up getting gift cards for my sister and stuff, so I still do that for her birthday. But and plus that's what she wants. But it's more fun to just give the kids the presents because they're more fun to watch open them.
Oh yeah, they open those presents up like.
Oh man, they just go out.
They just explode the paper.
Yeah.
Like I don't even. It's like
go at
like their
like a
hands are made out of
Wolverine.
razor blades.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see what they're into. Like one of my nieces, Nisai, what is that? Niece plural. Have I already talked about that? I don't know how to say it.
Nieceroos.
Nieces. She likes like play food, like fake food that's plastic. I remember loving that stuff as a kid, and that's her phase right now. So we got her a whole bunch of that, like stuff you can actually like cut up and like fake little kitchens and stuff. I think that stuff's cool. I never had one. Yeah. It's funny when I was a kid, aging myself. The fake kitchens were metal.
Oh yeah, and you could really burn yourself on them,
or
too.
like cut yourself at least on the
Yeah.
corners of those things. They were made kind of cool, and I thought they looked a little real. And now they're all bubbly plastic princess.
You have to go out
kitchen.
of your way to actually get wood ones now. So
Ooh, yeah.
you could get wood ones. You just have to sort of dig a little bit more.
You have
The
to go to
plastic ones.
You have to go down dark alleys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy them from.
got that kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. You got that wooden kitchen. for Christmas.
Yeah, on Craigslist. I'm looking for a tiny kitchen. What? What are you talking about, guy? No, it's for my kid. Tiny kitchen.
I swear it's just for my kids.
I swear, officer, I was just here buying a tiny kitchen.
Gosh, the places Craigslist will take you. My goodness. Yeah. So Christmas is nice. New Year's, you guys do anything? Hey, we got kids. Watch this answer be.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay home and watch the ball drop on TV.
I'm actually going to Uber. I'm going to Uber drive.
That's right. You are an Uber driver. So
Yeah.
those of our listeners out there, I'm just gonna say, check your Uber. You might
check
have
your
one of
Uber.
the Video Game Dads podcasts. Yeah, you are doing that. How do you like that?
I've only done one night. I did 10 trips. I enjoy it a bunch, but the pay is sort of crummy.
Yeah, you don't make as much.
You don't make.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that company or business is just sort of not looking out for their drivers, sort
Okay.
of. But I think New Year's is going to be really, really well because they're going to have,
surge pricing.
Surge pricing. So that's going to help. So I think I'm going to do it then, and then I'll probably not do it after that.
Cool.
Because it is fun. It's cool to hear all the people talking. Like, I mean, I had 6-year-olds in the car that were super nice and had younger people that were in there about 6 deep, and they were just talking their heads off. They were still really nice, but it's so weird to hear different people's aspects on what they're talking about and stuff. And it's just so cool.
that is true. Like, think about it. Like, let's say you're having a conversation with someone you don't like.
Yeah.
What do? You walk away.
Yeah.
If you're driving them somewhere, you kind of got to hear it, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's, I mean, cab driver, I guess. I always think that's kind of cool, though, too, because you can, see and hear people's perspectives on stuff, or, ask what kind of, music would you like to listen to? Would you like the paper? I mean, you could be as chauffeury as you want.
Want to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should get really passive aggressive and ask them what type of music they like, and then turn it to the exact opposite.
Opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, you like
So
rap,
Adam would be a
country, it
terrible
is?
Uber driver.
Yeah.
We've established that.
Well, Uber doesn't want people to tip anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's
it
another
doesn't
thing. They
So it
don't
doesn't
allow you
really
to
matter.
tip.
What are they going to do? Give me a lesser star rating?
Yeah, that feels weird because I read online because I felt weird about it, and they said, yeah, actually, the Uber drivers really need tips, but nobody does because they tell them not to.
Yeah, I tip when I Uber.
I do too.
Thank you.
I do too.
But not everybody
Tip your Uber
does,
drivers,
apparently.
people. It's
yeah,
nice.
they say it's factored in the price. I'm like, I don't
No,
know
it's
about
not.
that. Man.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I mean, like, when you order pizza or whatever, like you do it on a credit card or something, and they bring the little receipt to your.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even tip on the receipt. I try as much as I can.
Give 'em
Or if I
cash.
have cash, I give them cash, and I'm like, don't tell anybody about this. Don't report this one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and
I
I
try to make it where they can just pocket the cash because
Yeah.
it's stupid to have to pay, tax or whatever on
that,
a $5 tip or something.
Yeah,
So,
tip well, people. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it takes. I don't know about you guys. If you've ever dated someone in the past that ever worked at a restaurant, because I never worked at a restaurant, you hear the horror stories about all the other stuff people go through, and like people treat other people like crap. So you're just kind of making up for it, and evening out the universe by giving them a bigger tip because they were
Yeah.
stiffed on another one. And that's the way our country works. Other countries, maybe it's a better idea. I went to I think it's Australia. You don't tip anywhere because they're all paid a normal like wage. So everybody gives you kind of good service, but it's kind of also nice because you don't have to worry about factoring in a tip.
Yeah.
And then if I get bad service, I still give a tip, but then I kind of
give a
feel
tip.
bad.
It's
It's less. I don't know.
Yeah,
I always give a tip.
I got my hair cut recently, and I don't know, the lady that cut my hair, like I could tell it was totally jacked up.
Yeah, you didn't give them a tip.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't going to say anything.
I still tipped her. I had to go back and get my head fixed, and I still gave a decent tip to the lady who screwed
It's
my
not
hair
that
up
bad.
to begin
I
with.
honestly thought one of my shoes was off when I was looking at you.
No,
Just kidding.
It looked like, it looked like I had lost a bet.
No, it makes you feel better that
You
happened
look
to
like
me.
half of Duff Lundgren's
No, I'm
haircut.
serious. I had like this hair on the side of my head that was like twice as long as all the rest of it.
boy.
I got home and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, that's going to have to get fixed. I had to go back
man.
and get it fixed. And I sort of knew that it was bad, but I didn't realize how bad until I got home.
She was hitting the bottle in between,
I
cleaning the
don't-
blades.
I don't know.
She was drinking that blue water.
Maybe
puts
she had
the
had a
combs in.
stroke or something. I don't know. I'm just giving her the
Drinking that
benefit
yak.
of the doubt. But
Oh man!
but yeah, I think that's the only time I've ever had to go back and have
Someone fix it.
have somebody.
I had that happen once. I think I was
Fix
in
it.
college, right? So a long time ago. And I had this lady, and she messed up, and she knows she did. So when they're doing like, they've got the guards on.
Yeah.
And I think at one point the guard fell off. And she did like one sideburn was normal, and the other one wasn't even a sideburn at this point. It was kind of like high water or like high top. So like halfway up, she did it, and she kind of I think realized she did it. But at this point, you can't put the hair back on. You know what I mean? Like you can't once you amputate the toe, you can't put the toe. Well, maybe you can if you do it within a couple.
She should have instructed a better fade, though. She should have done a fade or something.
Fade. This is before fade times. This is before this. This is the popular look now.
Did she screw up the lightning bolt that you were
she
cutting
just,
in the side
she
of your
just
hair?
messed up one whole side, and at this point, it's like, well, I don't want the other side looking like this. So she's gonna ignore it, and so am I. So I wore a hat for 10 solid
man.
days, and I just dealt with it. And it was just an accident. I knew it was an accident because she was talking so dang much. It's fine. I don't mind him being talkative, but she was. It's one of those things. Yeah.
And my hair is really easy to cut. Like I keep it really short, and at least I think it's easy to cut. I don't guess I've ever cut it myself. But my wife, back when I can't remember if we were married at this time. We've been married for about 14 years now. But this might have been when we were dating, so it's been a long time ago. But she's like, "Oh yeah, I could totally cut your hair," and I said, "All right, I didn't care, I said, "Sure, whatever," because it's so short that it'll grow out and fix itself within a couple of weeks, anyway. So that we had absolutely no money back then, anyways, and so we're sitting in the kitchen, and she's like got these clippers, and she's clipping my hair, and like the phone rings,
Oh,
and
shoot.
she turns to get the phone, and she goes, and I mean literally out of like my right ear, I just hear
No.
into the back of my head, and so there's like this 2-inch square, just bald spot on the back of my head. So that was the first and the last time that ever happened. Because I had to wear a hat, but it was in such a place that like the band of the hat, like half of this naked patch of head was still hanging out of the bottom of the headband.
man.
Yeah. So
And you can't fix. The problem is at that point, probably a real hair person could fix that, but it's one of those like she probably can't fix it.
No.
yeah, no. I mean, like I said, it was only something I had to wear.
Sure, and we're guys.
for a
we,
week or two.
we get over it.
But
It reminds me of the. Did you ever see the picture of Jesus where someone like tried to retouch it, and it was someone who didn't know what they were doing? Like if you retouch a painting, like painting thousands of years old. You guys haven't seen this?
no, I haven't.
Okay,
seen this,
people
no.
need to Google this. It is nuts. It's just look up like retouching or re-imaging of like Jesus photo, and it was basically this photo, and they needed to repaint it, restore it. That's what I'm trying to think
restore.
of. They tried to restore it, and the person restoring it, didn't know what they were doing, and this thing came out. It's just I can't describe it. You're gonna have to look it up, but look it up. It is crazy. Anyway, so
That's why I stick to one hair person. I got my one lady, and I never go to her because I went to one person one time I think it was like a super cuts, and she cut her finger.
oh god,
I was like, oh my
Oh,
god.
she gave you the hepatitis, man? with
Yeah,
your
pretty
haircut?
much.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not good.
Jeez.
she cut her finger, and it was right before we were ready to go on a cruise, and so I was just freaking
Where's
out.
this going? She was-
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I was getting ready to go on a cruise, so she cut it. So I had to call up my lady. She wasn't in; she was out of town. So I was like, whatever ladies in the salon right now, she's cutting she needs to fix this. Somebody needs to fix this. So I had to spend another $25 to get my hair cut by this other lady.
Yeah.
And she fixed it, but oh man, I couldn't believe she cut her finger though. This lady was like 75 years old, still cutting hair. That's
kind of sad.
Yeah, I know, man. She like she was bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, you don't want PTSD with your haircut.
Oh
Man.
That's why I stick to my lady. Mandy, that's my lady.
Mandy's
my lady.
Mandy's your man.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you need to just invest in a Flowbee. Is all you need to do.
Well, now I just don't even cut my hair.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know what a Flowbee is, that's another thing to Google.
I don't know what that is.
Is that the vacuum thing?
Yeah, it's like these attachments they made back in the early 90s. They had infomercials for it, and you plug these things onto the end of a vacuum cleaner.
Yep.
Or maybe it's a whole machine in and of itself, but it sucks your hair up into it and clips it off at an even level.
Yeah.
And so there's all these kids with all this screwed up hair where it's all sucked up on one side.
Either that or they look like the bowl cut bandit because it's all cut even on everywhere. It's
yeah,
like,
but if you don't know what the Flowbee is, literally, I recently did this myself. Just get on YouTube, Google Flowbee commercial or something like that. Just watch the commercials. It is the dumbest, funniest thing you'll ever watch, and it's totally like a real thing. Oh yeah. Like it's not a spoof. That's not something made to look goofy. That really happened.
Yeah, people actually bought that.
Jeez. Something else we did last night. Wife and I toured the hospital. Do you guys remember doing that?
Oh yes, they make
for the baby.
do it.
Yeah, for the baby. Yeah. No, I tell you, we just did it for fun.
Well, I mean, some people do weird stuff.
I know. It's like, you say it's your birthday when you go to Finnegan's or Shoney's or something, and then we also like to tour hospitals. And we ask them for free cake. We want your nurses to come out and clap and say happy birthday and not a traditional way. Anyway, so we toured the hospital, which was interesting because it was late at night. Like the tour started at 7:30 p.m.
Oh, yep. We had one of those too.
Okay, so that must be a normal thing. And it was cool. There's two other families, I guess, pregnant families. Obviously, I didn't know. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because we toured the little facility. And I'm an idiot. I was making jokes like, "Oh, are these nurses animatronic?" Because like it felt weird. Like we're in a health place, where they're actually doing their stuff and their babies and people are anyway. But it was neat. The best parts of the hospital are usually where the mother baby stuff is and the birthing. And they asked a lot of questions. Back I had a rotation back on mother baby unit and stuff, so I kind of remembered a lot of the things they do, and you can't transport the baby by holding it. They tell you that you have to put it in a bassinet. It has to be in a
bassinet, yep. Because an alarm will go off. It has to be at a certain level. You can't, you have to stay in the bassinet while you're traveling.
You're probably a pro at this. You have any tips for hospital?
Shane's actually a midwife. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, you helped out. He's doing
at-home births in bathtubs these days.
Yeah, he just did a water birth. Yeah. Well, and what he likes to do is get in the water too.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. All right. Anyway, sorry. Okay.
Well, we have 3 kids, so on the third one, because they make you go to these. So even with the third kid, they try to make us go, and we're like, we're not.
Yeah, no, they're mandatory.
Yeah, they're mandatory. You have to go.
I know registration is mandatory, but the tour, really?
The tour. They want you to do the tour. Jeez. Beth did the registration. On the third one, we're like, we're absolutely not going. We know how this works. We've been to this hospital.
Yeah, they tour you around, and then they beat it into your head that you're supposed to breastfeed.
What about that? Yep. Those Mormon families, like 18 kids and counting, they're really tired of that.
I bet they're really tired of that.
They probably give the tour. Okay, go ahead. Anyway.
Well, we just lost the Mormon audience.
Oh, man. Sorry, come back.
Jeez.
Come back. Okay, go ahead.
But no, that's all I got. They make you go to those tours. It's sort of annoying. I mean, the first 1, 2... Because 2, you could start requesting like your room. You're like, hey, I don't want to be by the. Here's the thing: don't get the room by the double doors where the people are always going in and out. Right. Stay away from those requests not to be by those because you'll never get a night of sleep.
Just like the hotel, like don't be by the elevator.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah,
got
do
it,
that, man.
Pro
tip.
Pro tip. You beat me to it.
I beat you.
We ended up watching. As an adult thing, you know how we talked about Cyclops. We ended up watching Sex Drive, the movie. And it's kind of like an American Pie type movie. Laura and I actually for Christmas, what we did on actual Christmas, we set up in front of the projector screen and set up the blow-up mattress and just laid there all day and watched Christmas movies.
Oh, nice.
It was great.
Awesome.
Christmas Vacation.
Oh, you watched Christmas Vacation? That's my fave.
Christmas Vacation is so good.
It's hilarious.
Good.
And there's something in that movie that, like, I've seen that movie 100 times, and every time I watch it, there's like something that I'm like, God, I never realized that was in the movie.
Oh, really? I watched
Yeah.
I don't know if I even have that because I've watched that movie so much. That's that was a staple. Chevy Chase, everybody else.
Cousin Eddie, man, that's
Cousin Eddie is
one of
where
the
it's
best
at.
characters ever.
Yeah.
He's
All
like,
those
oh,
characters.
make sure to get yourself something nice too. Remember when he says he basically gets the presidents and he tells them to like buy it for him.
Gives him money to buy himself a present.
Your
He's like, "Make
eyes
sure
aren't
you get
crooked anymore. Well, the funniest thing, she fell in a well, and then she got kicked by a mule, and they went back. Oh man!
Well, the greatest thing about that show is, and the reason it's a classic is because it's relatable.
Yes, it is.
Everybody has like those. Sometimes I guess maybe you might be one of the stereotypes in the movie.
Yeah.
I guess, but everybody's got a Cousin Eddie, right? And everybody has.
I bring my Bush Light to Christmas parties,
Yeah.
so I imagine I'm probably Cousin Eddie.
I mean, his
Yeah.
father-in-law's all grumpy,
Yeah.
and the one of the mother-in-laws is all drunk, and then
Yep.
and everybody has like these weird little offbeat things, and it's just great.
Yeah.
the squirrel. One of the best parts I forgot are the neighbors. Do you remember
yeah,
Neighbors
yeah.
has the what's her name from
Julia
Seinfeld?
Louise Dreyfus.
Yes,
Yeah.
Julia Louise
Yeah.
Dreyfus.
Yep.
Louis, is it Louis or Louise?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not. It is a hyphen name Dreyfus. Her parts are like hilarious.
Yeah, they
like,
really are.
She's like,
Well, why is it all wet, Todd?
yeah, why is the carpet wet, Todd? Todd. I don't know, Margot. Oh my gosh,
Todd and Marco.
Did you watch?
Oh,
Did you
gosh.
watch A Christmas Story?
we didn't watch A Christmas Story.
that
We
was good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just watched that. But
That's my favorite.
Okay, real quick about Christmas Vacation. Okay, do you remember Mary, the girl in the department store?
Yeah.
Because remember, she's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah,
we need
yeah.
to be Mary," and he's like, "Oh," and the other thing, that's not rated R, and
Yeah.
that rant he goes on, that cussing rant, that's a pretty hardcore cussing rant.
It's really not a
pretty
rated
good.
R movie. I thought it was.
Pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, because you're right. Family
Because you
movie.
could get by with, I think there's like a 2 F-bomb limit or something.
Yeah, I
he
think there's
says
one or
sack
two.
is-
Yeah.
He says a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, that whole rant. He's like, "Where's the Tylenol?" at the end of all that.
Yeah.
He's like, "I want a big bow." Anyway, so Mary, the girl in there in the department store that he flirts with pretty heavily, and then Rusty comes up. He's like, "Hey, you can't even see the tan lines, can you, Rusty?" That lady right now is 60 years old.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Well, I guess the movie's 30, right?
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
Yeah, so it makes sense, right?
Don't
She's
bring
30.
up stuff like
God,
that.
we're going to be,
Well, that girl, in that scene where obviously like he's daydreaming, he's looking out the window and she's there and, she's taking off her clothes and right before it comes up, the little girl's like, "Santa," It's like, "Oh no, you're not Santa." But anyway, that actress is 60 years old right now. Just wanted to throw that out
yeah,
there.
well, and all the kids are, full-blown adults with like teenagers and stuff.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
got
and
Rusty's from Big Bang
it's,
Theory.
it's the march of
Yep.
life, man.
Yeah.
We're all just hurtling towards death.
Yeah. So we watched that. We watched something called Arthur Christmas, a movie we hadn't seen yet, but I don't know. It's some animated film I've had forever. That was fine, I guess. It was an animated film. Trying to think what else. We watched another one, maybe Scrooged. No, it wasn't.
Did you watch Die Hard?
I wanted. I
Okay,
suggested
so
that.
do you guys think that's a Christmas movie?
Heck yes, it's
It
a
is.
Christmas movie. Absolutely.
I'm not on there. Nope.
Die Hard 1 and 2 are both Christmas movies.
I now have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
Yeah, he throws the guy down the elevator shaft with "ho ho ho" written on his shirt. It's totally a Christmas movie.
That makes it a Christmas movie. I actually suggested. So I went and picked out all the Christmas movies I have. Which one was like, the original Santa Claus is good, but one of them was Die Hard. But she didn't pick that one. But anyway, yeah, Christmas Vacation might win everything.
Yeah, it's my favorite, but
I even loved the
Christmas
opening.
Stories, me man.
but Die Hard's pretty good. I still like the Grinch cartoon. That's still
Yeah,
one
the
of my
Grinch
favorites,
cartoon,
yeah.
and it's so short too. You
I
can just
didn't get to
jam that
wa-
thing out. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it this year. I
didn't
must have
either.
missed it.
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
on
watch
TV
Peanuts,
usually.
the Peanuts one either.
Peanuts. I watched that one too. I'm trying to think of another Christmas.
There's a lot. There's Christmas Carol, a lot of different ones. The Mickey Mouse one, the one recently with like CGI, which isn't bad.
Yeah, we did watch the Mickey ones. Yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter loves Mickey, so.
But anyway,
Yep.
those are the kind of things we did. Yeah, toured the hospital, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
All right. So, have you guys been playing any games lately? Anything good?
What have you been playing, Ben?
Me? So a game that's currently on sale on PSN that I highly recommend. The reason I played this was I heard it was very good on like Game of the Year things. It's a game called Inside. Just Inside, INSIDE.
From the makers of Limbo.
From the makers of Limbo,
Play
which is
Dead.
yes, which is an indie game. It's kind of a dark game. This isn't a game you could play with your kids around. But here's what happened with this game, which was very interesting. Out of the three of us, our wives aren't really huge gamers. Mine is probably the least by far. She played Doom as a kid once or something like that. She liked that. We tried to play it again. She got like motion sick. So she's just not a big gamer. Not a big deal. She appreciates me for what I am. We have other hobbies and stuff. So I've kind of given up on her playing any kind of games. She actually was kind of into this game, which is crazy because I've tried like other games. Because there's a part where you're like running from dogs, and you play as a little boy as a protagonist,
just like Limbo,
and it's kind of like thrilling and nerve-wracking, and this is kind of a side-scrolling platform puzzler.
Yeah.
But this game is very good. Unfortunately, I didn't want to play it when everybody was hyping it because people were talking about it
So
kind of
much,
too much and saying how amazing it was. I'm like, okay, this is just going to ruin it for me. And I'm glad I did because I read a review about someone else who kind of didn't like it because it was hyped too much. So then when I got away from the hype and replayed it, it's a short game, 3-4 hours. It's currently, I think, like $10 or $11, which is a good price for that much. But it is so much fun. The puzzles aren't too hard. It's a dark game. Think kind of like a Tim Burton vibe, but maybe a little darker than that as far as like what you can take as far as the. But the story's super interesting. It starts out immediately. I like that kind of like X-Men 2 on the Sega Genesis. There's no title screen. There's no here's the video game. Here's the publisher.
Cyclops.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do it.
No, you had to. I love that. We watched that part too. Anyway, outtakes of the sex drive.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That's good. But anyway, really good game. You guys need to play it. It's one of those games, if I tell too much, I'm kind of like spoiling it. But yeah, if you have not played this game yet, I highly recommend playing inside, playing it in one setting. I haven't even beaten it. I'm at 90% to the end. Nice. But it's really good. So I'm interested to know what the payoff is. But it's worth the hype. Really good. Just direction. It's very artistic. That I played Shantae. Those Shantae games.
How do you like this, Shantae?
Which one?
Okay, so there's
one,
4 Shantae games. There's the one for the Game Boy Color. For those who don't know, this is like kind of in terms of like Super Mario Brothers, where you run to the right and you jump on things. But the protagonist is a genie, and you hit people by whipping your hair.
Yeah.
Like Will Smith's daughter.
Just like Shane.
I whip my hair back and forth. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Shane's working on his hair.
I don't know how that was a hit. She just said that over and over again.
Who knows?
It was not a jiggy with it.
Youngsters.
These kids. I don't know. She's making millions. What do I have to say? I'm not
Yeah.
making millions. I should be quiet. She knows more than I do. Anyway, it's a fun platformer. So they made one for Game Boy Color. They made another one called Risky's Revenge. Oh boy, another one that I forgot the name for the 3DS, and now they have a brand new one for the PS4 and the Wii U and all the new systems.
Yeah, Xbox One.
And it's called Half Genie Hero. Anyway, they're kind of platformers. There's 4. I played Risky's Revenge. Anyway, they were really cheap, like $2 on PSN. So I got the digital versions of them. Excuse me, Freud. I don't know why I said that. Whoops. Versions of them. Risky's Revenge isn't very good, but the other one is like a ton of fun. It's
I didn't really care for the one on the 3DS. I don't know which one that is. I mean, it's okay, but I don't know. The way people rave about some of the Shantaes is, I don't know, they're okay.
I think, they're very different. So the Game Boy Color one I think is very good. Risky's Revenge I didn't think was that good. And then the third one, now I can't remember what the heck it's called.
But it's better than the other one? Though?
Yeah, it's better. So shoot, I don't really know what it's called.
Yeah, I wish I could help, but I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, but anyway, so played those. Those are kind of fun. That's kind of all I did. What about you, Shane?
I jumped on the Sega Dreamcast. I finally came and got the kiosk from Adam. I popped in Power Stone 2, played a lot of it.
I didn't know you had Power Stone 2.
Yeah, Power Stone 2. Actually, I think Power Stone 1 is better, though. I don't have it to
they're
play
both,
back.
They're both good.
Okay. Maybe it's the camera. Ben, you're the Sega Dreamcast guy. Is Power Stone 1, do you think it's better than Power Stone 2?
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know. Maybe it's a camera angle or something. I don't know. It seems like
they're both better if you play in multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true. It just seems like it's really far away. I mean, granted, with that said, though, it's still a great game. I played a lot of it. What else did I play? Played a little Empire. What is the name of that dang game? It was just on a Metal Jesus video a while back.
Oh, Steel Empire?
Yeah, Steel
Genesis?
Empire. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
That looks like a cool game.
It is
What is
really
this? I
cool.
don't know what this is.
So it's a side scroll. It's a shooter. It's a shoot 'em up, and I mean you get to pick between like two different planes. There's like a blimp, like, or what are those called? It's on a Christmas story.
A Zeppelin.
Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So you get to pick a Zeppelin, which is really weird. Which I don't like. playing
Zeppelin
with them.
sounds way cooler than Blimp, even though they're
Yeah.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, they are the same
The
thing.
Goodyear Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds scary though.
Yeah. So it's just a shoot 'em up, but I always play as a little plane. And I don't know,
It's
really
it's
good
one
game.
of those. I mean, the art style in it is sort of that steampunk. Kind
Yeah,
of
it's like a sort of
It's kind
steampunk
of like
game.
a 40s, but in the future kind of thing. Yeah,
It's really cool. I mean, it's a hidden gem. I mean, it's a really fun game. Not crazy expensive. Just hard to find though.
Huh.
Played it, and I really did a lot of setting up and playing with the kids with games because I had my nephews and nieces over, and they all tried the VR, but I also set them up on Mario Brothers to play some old school. So I have my game room set up to where anything could be played at any time. So I had the kids playing old school while the other ones were playing VR, and then the other ones were playing, more of like the mid range, like PS2 or Super Nintendo type of stuff. So I was really just setting up, watching them play. One liked RPG, so he played Super Mario RPG.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and he was digging it, so that was
Cool.
really cool to see
Yeah.
that. It was really awesome. I did jump on Turtles of Time with them also.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
You
so
can't
that
go
was
wrong with that
cool.
one.
Yeah.
That's for what? System?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
Oh
Super
yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah. Very
so
good game.
He
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool. But that's pretty much about it.
Cool. What about you, Adam? Do you have time for anything else besides what we've?
Yeah, I've played a few things. So I started Ni no Kuni for PS3. Mm-hmm. Played it some with my kid, and for those that don't know, it's actually a really well done Japanese RPG done by Factor 5. Which I think
Yeah,
they do-
I think you mentioned
I
that
think they
last
do
time,
I think they do the Professor Layton games and stuff on DS, but it's super good, and it looks like you're playing like a cartoon, like an early '90s sort of anime cartoon.
Yeah.
but it's one of the sort of child level or type cartoons. It's really pretty. It plays really nice. Has all these really nice cutscenes, and it kind of surprises me that they kept the name Ni no Kuni because I don't even really know what that means, but the English
Say
translation.
it backwards, and I can tell you what it means.
No, but
Everybody's trying to do that right now. It actually doesn't mean anything. I was just guessing. I don't even know what. My name backwards is Neb. That's okay. Go ahead.
Quiet
Adam.
down over there, Neb.
Adam, or should I call you Matta? All right.
all right. So at any rate, this game. The English translation in it is really, really good. I mean, it could not have been better translated into English than it is. And so my 3-year-old, he'll actually sit down and watch it as I'm playing it like he's watching a cartoon on television.
Cool.
So it's an RPG, because I haven't played an RPG in a long time, or at least not with my child present, because he can't pay attention to that kind of stuff. But he just sits there and watches it, and it's great, and it's a good game. It's not particularly hard, and it is kind of an entry level kind of RPG, but it's really nice. And I finished Until Dawn, which I kind of beat to death in the last podcast talking about it, and I was happy that I played it. It was a good game all the way through, and I started on Kirby Planet Robobot.
Ooh, I want to play
on the
that.
3DS,
I want to play that.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of the best action platformers I've ever played.
Cool.
My
It's-
nephew was playing that during the breaks. So
It is
yeah.
super good. It's,
Kirby games are very good.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge Kirby fan in general. I like the Kirby games okay. I mean, they're almost a little too cutesy and everything
Yeah.
else, but Planet Robobot is like, it's just about perfect. Like,
Have you played the Game Boy Advance games?
I'm sure I probably did some
Okay.
at some
'Cause
point.
those are pretty good, too.
They all blend together in my head, to be
Yeah.
honest, from back then. But a lot of them I have just kind of like I'm alluding to. I have trouble sort of differentiating the memories of which game is which from each other.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Aside from the very first one and then Planet Robobot, but Robobot's really, really good. And I'm also playing Odin Sphere on PS4, which is a HD remake of I think a PS2 game by the same name, and it's again sort of a Japanese anime watercolor style. Sort of beat 'em up RPG kind of thing done by Atlas, and it's really good. It's a bit repetitive, but it plays nice and it looks really cool. And that's really all I've been up to as far as games
Cool.
go.
Nice.
And we got a couple emails. Can we do that little part?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we check that out?
Yeah, so we got some feedback.
Yeah, so we'll talk about
Emails.
Yeah.
And so there's one fella who goes by SNES fan who's actually sent us quite a few emails, all of which have been very much appreciated. And he well, I'll just read his email here. He says, I had a debate with my brother-in-law over Christmas about VR. He was trying to tell me it would take over and how he wanted to learn to program, software for VR. I told him we had it in the 90s. I didn't remember VR in the 90s. Well, let me skip that part. Personally, I believe VR is a fad, and that fad will fade like the Wii Motion controller. He does believe that augmented reality will be useful, going forward and that sort of thing. But basically, the gist of the email is that he sees VR as kind of something that's going to happen and then maybe sort of pass to a large extent, and kind of, I guess, wanted our feedback on that.
What do you guys think about that?
I have a strong opinion about it. I just think it's not going to take over the controller. I mean, the controller is always going to be number one with gaming to me. Mm-hmm. But with that said, VR to me has a place. It's just the people making the games need to figure out what that place is.
Here's the thing, it has a wow factor that unfortunately you can't show any way, even looking at it, unless you are in the headset. Yep. And the problem is you can kind of see what's going on if you see the image of other people or watch a stream or something else. These guys, GiantBomb.com, do something called a VR rodeo. They call it the Verodeo, just kind of silly name like we did with the Video Game Book Club. But they go through and play all these games for a couple hours and show. But even still, you can't grasp it unless you are in the headset, and that's a tough sell.
Well, it is, and before I got the headset, I was the most pessimistic about it, I think, of the three of us, because I didn't go to Best Buy with you guys and try it beforehand and stuff.
You weren't nerds like us.
Well, I'm not
we
saying
had our
that.
guy date at Best Buy.
I would never question your nerdness, but what I'm saying is, I got online and saw all these people, saw the videos of it. I'm like, big deal. You put a stupid helmet on your head, all looks stupid. There's a million cords, dumb, not going to happen, And I actually didn't plan on buying it or anything else. I kind of, impulse bought it because I knew you guys were buying it and I didn't want to be all alone. So,
you peer pressured it.
I bought it because of peer pressure. That's true. So, but I'm happy that I did. But you're exactly right. I totally didn't get it until I got it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it was when I brought it home and plugged it all in, and then started going through the demos and stuff, being like, "Whoa, this really is awesome."
Yeah.
And I think my family members over Christmas kind of got that too. Now that being said,
are any of them going to buy the headset?
No, they're not going to buy the headset. And well, actually, I shouldn't say that. A couple of them might, but it's still expensive.
Yep.
And it's still very cumbersome. There's 800 cables that you have to have, and just hooking the thing up. It's a cumbersome device. It just is.
And you can't easily grab the controllers because you have this headset on, so you're always handing something to somebody.
And when you're playing a game, if I go upstairs and play my PS3 right now, I can play my PS3, but I can still talk to you, and I can still talk to my wife, or I can still watch my kid.
Yeah.
Kind of. But
this,
but this, you're kind of like, hey, world, screw you guys. I'm in the helmet.
Your whole house could get robbed, and you're
exactly.
Know.
I mean, I
making an omelet.
Pull the helmet off, and all my stuff's gone.
Yeah.
So it's a very dedicated thing, and it's so you have to physically completely dedicate yourself to it, and it's a cumbersome device. So I do. I mean, that's the biggest drawback to it, right? And that's why it won't ever be the only or the it thing. I think just in general. Now that being said, when we get to talking about news, I'm going to bring some stuff back up that I think are going to make it a lot more mainstream.
Yeah.
So my opinion is that VR is going to coexist along other regular games, and it will actually be very mainstream in the future.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, obviously, we have the headsets. We're kind of a little biased, and we want it to succeed. But in all honesty, is this a fad? Like you said, like the Wii. You have to think of what is a fad. The Wii was successful. The Wii did get people who didn't play video games to play it. And something like this podcast, honestly, in our professions, we don't go saying this, we do this all the time, but we tell our friends and things like that. It's not as much of a stigma as only people are playing this thing. Older people in nursing homes played a video game and enjoyed it. And it wasn't just like, oh, I'm playing this video game. It's like, no, this is like a form of entertainment.
Well, but...
Well, I'm saying that this is a good, what I'm saying is this, in a way of a fad of like the Wii, I think the Wii was successful in getting more people to play games, and that's all you want kind of people to do in this. And this price point makes it a little more difficult, but also knowing eventually these things are going to go wireless. And from what I have heard through, the people doing this and throwing money at this are expensive people, smart people. Ultimately, everybody knows you have to get the headset wireless eventually for it to really take off. And right now you can with doing the phone thing. And I've done the phone thing, and it's pretty good and nice, and Samsung will sell you the thing. So people kind of get an entry point in VR, even though these games are pretty rudimentary, you don't have controllers, things like that. You can get a VR experience pretty inexpensively if you have a smartphone. You can buy one of those VR viewers to kind of see how you like it. But ultimately, if you don't get a more expensive one, you're more likely to get motion sick. It's not quite one-to-one. You have a lot of different kind of issues. I don't think it's a fad because it's going to get better, and everybody eventually wants to go on the holodeck of Star Trek. And that is a dream. No matter what, even if you did or didn't like, do you remember that, the gray grid, walking through that? That's what we want to do.
And it's an experience that you can't get with a controller, though. You cannot experience this.
And that's kind of the thing. And even, the Wii is kind of an extreme example of motion control. Everybody remembers playing games where you're just holding the stupid thing and you're just kind of shaking your arm back and forth, the waggle, so to speak.
Waggle,
they kind of got on everybody's nerves with games. But from the Wii, motion controls haven't gone away, right? PS4 uses, I played a lot of PS4 games using some form of motion control. Until Dawn, that I just played, uses a bunch of motion control in it.
With the controller.
And so it's become more subtle than the times of the Wii, but it hasn't gone away. And I don't think the motion control is going to go away. Half the cell phone games have some kind of motion control. It's become a part of gaming. Again, I think VR is going to change. I think it's going to get a lot less cumbersome, and it's just going to be another avenue that the games are experienced through. Is it going to take over? No, but is it going to go away? Probably not.
Yeah, and there's room for growth, like you were saying. With the room of growth, I think that's why it's going to stay around. Like if this thing was maxing out now and not able to grow, then I understand it would be a fad. Then.
And how we can play together. We still need to be able to get a game that we all could play in our own homes and see.
See how that works.
The other thing, the elephant in the room is, people are a little too dependent on cell phones. We all are.
Yep.
And we are getting out of touch with relationships. We don't know how to do it. The big thing now is millennials don't know how to deal with people, don't know how to keep jobs. It's these kind of weird, odd things that are going on. And we're kind of disconnecting, and we're not having human relationships. If we got 5 minutes to kill, we're going to look at our phone. We're not going to say, hey, how's this person doing? How's your mom doing? Oh, she's sick in the hospital. Those are the things that are important, right? And if you're putting on a headset, you're instantly kind of dead to the world. What I like about the PSVR, though, is people can interact with you and see what you're seeing and experience it, and you trade off. And honestly, you can't look at your phone while you're playing that. It's kind of hard to get distracted when you're in that world. And you can still the avenue to watch movies, to maybe interact with other people across the world, have a social aspect of it. It's no different than anything, it's like video phone. Imagine what'll happen in the future. It's kind of a neat avenue, and it also the effects it can have for people with handicaps and things like that, of broadening what they can see, what they can do, what they can travel to, how they can escape. These are all good things.
Well, but again, like you're alluding to, it's gonna be a more social thing, like with the Samsung phone, for instance, or maybe even the iPhone in the future. If you want to talk to somebody on the phone, hey, you put on your VR headset, you Skype them, and you're there looking at them in their avatar form, and they're looking at you, and then you're conversing back and forth while seeing somewhat accurate representations of each other.
Instead of sitting there just texting or something like that.
That's totally going to happen. I have no doubt that will happen. So it's not going to be just I guess. Will it still exist in video games? But I see it even, going beyond video games and actually impacting how we communicate with each other, how we connect with each other, and how you interact with your family members. Grandma over on the opposite coast, kind of thing. So I really think it's going to go all those avenues.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be like Ready Player One, where people are this is their only outlet, how they can get into.
No, and and all these things are a little ways off. It's not going to be tomorrow that this stuff happens.
But we already have in the medical profession, you can technically kind of have your own avatar. Have you seen these where you can give assessments? There are doctors in the ICU on these robots, And something else for my job is I drive a lot to visit people. And if I could eliminate all that driving, technically, if I had that, if I was able to have some sort of projector thing in people's homes, my job could be made so much easier in terms of how quickly I can get things done.
Yeah.
I don't mind the driving right now, but shoot, you could take, if you're talking about a money aspect, I could get it done half the time. Either I could see twice as many people, or you could pay me half as much, right? That'll save money for whoever. But there's just so many. It opens up new doors, and that's what's neat. And is it perfect right now? Does everybody need it? No. And there's weird stories about people on Craigslist evidently like buying the PSVR, buying the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive, and then like charging people to come to their home and play it and things like that. I'm like, okay. Well, there's always exploitation. There's the adult industry that as soon as they get their hand, they probably already are or something like that. That's going to like drive it going, because that's the other part of it, right?
Yeah.
The parts of AI, right? Yeah. Futures, every technology is driven by normally a handful of things. And as long as those handful of things go, then the technology will go with it. So anyway, we gave a pretty good thorough right in your emails because we're going to spend a long time talking about it. Any other emails?
Sure. So we got another one. This one starts out. Dan here from the Dan and Cody podcast. I recently stumbled upon you guys and was immediately intrigued as a podcaster, gamer, and new dad of a 4-month-old. First off, welcome to podcasting. Thank you, Dan. We're happy to be here. Episode 0 is actually pretty darn good for a rough run through. Thank you for that as well, because it was kind of a rough run through. Great structure and content. My fan question is this. I would love to hear your tips and tricks for getting in good quality game time while navigating through work, wife, exercise, and kids. I'm now lucky if I can get 30 minutes of clean playing time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll kick this thing off. Let me do it.
Go ahead.
You're the
So
busiest of all of us, so.
Here's Mr. Shane, stay-at-home dad, 3 kids under 3. Let's go.
My thing is,
Give this man some advice.
all those things that you mentioned, do those first. I mean, realistically, handle your business with your wife. Spend time with your wife, your kids, go to the gym, do all those things first. Where you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of your time is in sleep, to be honest. When your kids are all down and stuff like that, that's when you could take advantage of gaming, get your 30 minutes to an hour in. And where you could get in the most times if you're doing it day after day after day. You're going to be tired. If you want to get the time in, you can, but that's realistically the time that you could get it in. I also suggest a game night with your friends. We do it, we don't do it as much as often as that we want to, but I'm planning one right now with these guys.
Yeah,
and
monthly, bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly with your buddies. And, get in. Just tell your wife, hey, I'm not going out to the bar. I'm not doing this. Like, I want to do a game night with the friends. And you could put in a solid 4 to 5 hours that night. Just, talk with the wife and figure it out.
Yeah,
type of deal.
That's what my wife and I do. Everybody, at least most people need like a little bit of me time.
Yeah.
And perspective, the question comes from someone with a 4-month-old.
Yeah.
So, and it's only going to get
exactly.
harder too for them. Realistically, because when your child starts moving around, you're going to also want to play with them and do stuff.
Yeah, once they become mobile.
And stuff, and and they're going to be into activities and stuff. So I really think later at night is when instead of watching mindless TV, make an effort to go down and game instead.
Because he's even asking not only just with gaming, like how to even fit almost life in too. Because he wants to work out. I don't know if that's been a struggle for mine already. Having a more 9-to-5 job, trying to figure that out is really, you got to have this like Marine mentality of you get up at 5 because only people who make a difference in this world get up at 5 type thing. Like you have to will yourself. I don't want to. I want to, I get up when I normally get up. That extra hour sleep, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But really, if you want to be productive, studies show that get your production done in the morning if you can to get things started. That helps. My kid's on the way. We're going to find out how I try to navigate this and figure it out. But yeah, I think, figuring out they've got the fun, workout with the kid if you can. If the drive to the gym is the big thing, figure out to see if an investment of putting the gym in your home is worth it. If you're spending the time to get ready, get dressed, you're talking a good hour of your day then is lost trying to do the gym
Getting in
stuff
and out,
without
yeah.
even having to
There
do
and
with
there.
the gym. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
that's the prep and that's the time back. It's tough, but little tricks like you had, like you were playing Nino Kuni, your kid is enjoying it. That is a good game to play with a kid your age now. If there's some, if you're
Yeah.
just desperate to play a game and it's a good game, boom, there's a game right there.
That's another thing. If your kid is interested in and likes watching, that's cool. I mean, especially if it's a kid-friendly game, like sort of that's not cussing or, or whatever allow your kid to watch is fine too. I mean, if they want to watch it, let them watch it and do that. And also, take the batteries out of a controller and give it to them. And
That's a
think
good
that they're
tip. Yeah,
playing.
any other things like that? Those are
Yeah.
good
Well,
tips,
and
like
I-
having a dummy controller.
Dummy
Yeah.
controller.
And I mean, I actually think the game night thing's an excellent idea. And
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, time for stuff you want to do between you and your spouse is something to talk to each other very openly about.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I think it's healthy for us to get together as dudes sometimes and just like
Yeah.
goof off and play video games like once a month or, every 6 weeks or whatever when
Yep.
we get to do it. And like with my wife, we kind of, we say, hey, we're doing this night. And I also, as a carrot to her, say, hey, why don't you go do this thing that you really
Yep.
enjoy? I'll watch the kid,
Yep.
for an equal amount of time. And that way you're not being selfish.
Sure.
And as
You-
much as like,
Yes.
hey, you
Yeah.
take care of the kid and I'm out of the
It's a
house.
lot of
and I'm gonna go-
communication.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just be open with everybody, communicate with everybody, try to keep everybody happy. And just make sure that if you're taking the time to do the gaming stuff, you're giving it back in some other way.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me personally, and my kid's sleep habit right now, he's usually down by 8:30 or 9 at night,
Yep.
and that gives me a good solid hour or so to game or whatever. Like
I've
most
kind
of
of
my
heard that, like nighttime from even other guys talking about
yeah,
it.
I don't
Like,
watch TV before I go to bed. I play video games until I go to sleep, essentially
Yeah.
in the evening. So I'm not watching the news or I'm not watching some sitcom in syndication.
Yeah, see, I watch crummy reality TV.
Yeah, see, I
And
don't. I
do
hardly
that.
watch
It's way
any
too
television,
much.
so I just pop on a game, I play it for 30 minutes or an hour, and then I knock off to sleep, and that's how my days end almost every day.
Also, if your wife wants to watch some crummy reality TV and you really hate it, that's when you say, okay, while you watch this, I'm gonna go play my game then, or go play my games or something like that. While you watch the Real Housewives of New Jersey or
Don't
something.
act like you don't want like.
Oh,
Real
can't
Housewives.
watch that.
Yeah,
I can't watch
trade,
that one.
Trading off tit for tat that
Yeah.
pays big. I
It
know
pays
that's
off big.
We're gonna try that with the strategy of when the kid's new, no one gets any sleep. You're miserable. Like the kid needs to be fed every couple hours. You gotta wake up the kid to feed him.
Yeah, I say when the child. I mean, when especially with you, Ben, is when firstborn. Probably cut out the gaming just to start to figure out
Sure.
a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when you figure it out, I mean, you'll have a schedule. I mean, it's sort of schedule driven.
Little babies are practically a video game in and of themselves.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Well, what we're actually going to do is a friend of ours suggested this. I've already decided. So if you guys don't like this idea, anyway, we are going. My wife and I are going to trade off nights for the first two months.
oh,
Yeah.
And we've heard about this strategy, and really, it comes down to: do you both want to have lack of sleep all the time, or do you want to have one of you
Just completely not have
going
sleep.
being sleep deprived and then trading off every other day? So what we're going to do is basically like every other night trade off being the parent duties while the other one gets to sleep through the whole night.
Yep.
Because really you are going to be sleep deprived, so why not make it so two people aren't irritable? Anyway, it's an interesting strategy that I hadn't
Yep.
quite heard, but we're going to kind of do, and I think that's pretty fair too, because hey, tonight's the duty that I've got to, you know what I
Yep.
mean? I've got to do the duty to
you
take
said-
care of all the
You said
duty.
do the duty.
Yeah, I've got
He
to do
said
the duty.
duty.
Take care of the duty. So then that also kind of means on your
You
day off.
literally will be taking care
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
duties.
And obviously, if one person has a night vet, you're going to move some nights around. But I think, we'll see how it works. That's
Yeah.
going to be a good strategy. And what can I do on those off days? Get stuff done, figure
Yeah,
things out,
yeah.
and maybe game a little. Who
Yep.
knows?
Yep.
Yeah,
You'll figure it out.
yeah. Kids always come first. But happy wife, happy life.
That's very
Tried
true.
and true. Do the
Yep.
little things, because obviously, yes, it's not coming out of our bodies.
Yep.
We take part of it, and it's part of us, and we always say we're pregnant and stuff. But
Yep.
yeah, in terms of them having to do more at the beginning, that's a given. So you're going to have to do a little bit more after.
Put
and
in the
then-
work. It's worth it.
Yeah, make it work. And also, those are the things that you could come
But
to.
also take time for yourself. So
Yep.
you'll figure it out.
Yeah, it basically ebb and flow. the big thing is to make sure to, I think, get your house in order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before
Well, it all gets better once the baby figures out day and night.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sleep
How long does
cycles.
that take again? How
It
long?
depends on the kid, man. Some
It
of them get it
doesn't.
figured out in
Sometimes some
like a
kids
week or
don't.
two,
Yep.
and some of them it takes 6 months.
Yep.
And I think my kid was somewhere around 3 or 4 months before he sort of got everything kind of straightened out. So
My daughter's 8 months and she still hasn't figured it out.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, I don't get much sleep at all with her. She's a horrible sleeper. But my son, he's the middle child. He is a great sleeper. 9 o'clock rolls around,
Boom.
he's ready for bed. Boom, he'll walk up to the crib and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Our first, she's okay. We have to read her bedtime or sort of settle her down, but she's an okay sleeper. So
Yeah, it's funny. They always say, like, put your boys, the biggest thing you could do for boys up until they're like 14 is put them to bed early. It's like boys who are 6'5" go to bed at 9 o'clock. It's funny. I worked
Yeah.
with this, I think she was a nurse, and she was from I don't know where she was from, maybe Taiwan or something, but both of her sons, and she's short and her dad, both her sons are super tall, and she's like, you put your boys to bed by 9 every night, no matter how old they are, while they're in your home, and that will help them be normal. It combats depression, and they end up being they can start for a basketball team because that's when they do all their growing.
Yep,
is
all the growing
kids
when
need
they're
to
sleeping.
sleep when they're
Need to
growing.
sleep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway.
that's true. So, at any rate, I guess we can move on to some news
Yeah,
now.
but thank you for the.
Yeah, thank you for the
Thank you
email.
for your email, Dan and Cody. I went ahead and listened to their podcast. They're good stuff. It's really cool. It's cool to hear. It's like, oh man, these people are really good. It makes us sound pretty bad. So maybe don't listen to them after listening to us.
Yeah, do something else
Yeah.
and then listen to them tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
And make sure it's through a really scratchy speaker.
Rose-colored glasses with us. Yeah,
Just to make us sound a little
Yeah,
better.
but yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
it's
really good.
Yeah,
They're
we're
good.
new to this podcast community, so anybody reaching out to us, we completely appreciate. And they're kind of I don't know how to describe them. Also, two guys talk about anything though. They're broader than us. We stay pretty video game / dad focused, and they talk about current events, things. They're really entertaining. They have guests on their show. It'd be nice to get a guest at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe if we
can land somebody.
Maybe if we can land somebody, we'll see. Yeah, we have some ideas and stuff, so we'll play with that here and there. But anyway,
All right. So again, moving on to news. There, like every podcast, there's some Switch rumors. We need to have like some.
You have like an alarm go off every time we talk.
Yeah, something. I don't even know what the sound effect for a Switch rumor would be. Like, another Switch rumor.
a light switch going off or turning on.
Yeah. So at any rate, there's been some patents that got released about the Switch that showed up on some websites and stuff. And I guess the most telling, or the one that's got the people most excited, is the fact that there's a patent out for a headset that the Switch supposedly can slide into the front of.
Interesting.
To
I haven't
display
even heard about that.
VR, to display
Oh, really?
3D.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's that's one of the new bigger rumors kind of circulating around. And so when I was alluding to maybe VR will be a little bit less cumbersome, I mean there is the cell phone aspect, but the Switch might be a VR system, and it would make perfect sense.
And it wouldn't be very heavy.
It wouldn't be heavy.
I
It
had lunch with my brother-in-law today, and I didn't mention he thought the VR headset was a little heavy, which I hadn't heard
Really?
quite yet. But it makes sense if you're turning your head pretty quickly. So something like this would.
Yeah, no, I don't see any reason why they couldn't do it.
I could.
The
because-
Joy-Con controllers detach from the sides of it, and then you're left with just a little tablet about the size of a Galaxy Note.
Yeah.
And-
Power issue though. How strong is this machine? We don't know yet.
Well, if a Samsung phone can do it.
Yeah, but this thing's pumping out PS3 graphics. I don't know if it's going to be able to handle VR though.
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to
Yeah,
wait
that's
and
one of
see.
those things.
But
Yeah,
like I said,
we'll see.
there are patents, and I mean it's pretty easy to see how they could potentially
Yeah, I could see-
implement such a thing.
Well,
So
and it is called the Switch, and they want this thing to be like a Trapper Keeper / a Transformer.
well,
Yeah,
and,
where
and
you're-
that
yeah.
being said, Nintendo has a history of kind of coming up with goofy gimmicks. And then
very
also not
true.
all gimmicks end up making it to market. Like for instance, the GameCube actually is a 3D system and was designed to display in 3D, and even has supposedly 3D capabilities, but they never released the special screen that you have to attach to it.
I didn't know any of this.
To make it do that. Yeah, there's some old Iwata, Ask episodes and things where he talks about that sort of thing. And Luigi's Mansion supposedly was created as a 3D game,
Interesting.
the GameCube
Nice.
game. So there have been other, similar things, maybe from Nintendo's history that didn't necessarily make
Come
it out,
about, yeah.
on the market, but it certainly would be interesting if it did happen. And then you saw another Switch related rumor.
Yeah. Evidently, there's some sort, either a patent filed or something similar to Eternal Darkness, the GameCube game,
Which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, and that got people going. So that was new, and it obviously has to do with the Nintendo Switch. Does that mean it's going to be a new, not IP, but a new game coming out, or are they going to do what we've already kind of heard, which is GameCube emulation,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was sort of
it
wondering.
could
Yeah,
be,
so it could be that could be the other game that
Well,
maybe
and-
I forgot about that they're going to do.
Yeah, maybe. Silicon Knights was actually the developer. Eternal Darkness, it was kind of a second party game. So I'm going from memory here, but it was published by Nintendo and it was developed by Silicon Knights, which no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what. It basically depends on who owns the IP. Does Nintendo own it, or does this since defunct developer own it? I don't know the answer to that question, so I don't know legally where the Eternal Darkness sort of stands as the whether or not Nintendo actually has the rights to make a new one. I know that the Eternal Darkness developers have actually talked several times about making spiritual sequels to Eternal Darkness, which have never come about.
Just
But-
imagine some of the funky stuff they would do with that. The pad like turning off and on.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean-
maybe it rumbles on one side, shakes a controller
And
off,
for
or something.
anybody that's never played Eternal Darkness who likes any kind of survival horror game or anything like that, like you really owe it to yourself to play Eternal
yeah,
Darkness.
they got some really cool
It's-
little like gimmicky
it is,
things.
Yeah,
like,
it is a super cool game.
yeah, turning
And-
up the volume on and off, like on you. You think it's turning up and turning down, but
And the
it's
other-
really
Yeah, and the other big game that Silicon Knights made on the GameCube was Twin Snakes. The reimagining / remake of the first Metal Gear game that released on GameCube.
I had that.
That's a
good
super
game.
good game. So they made really high quality stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see if that ends.
We'll
up
see.
showing
So
up.
this thing is going to come out in March, huh?
March,
Yeah, March.
supposedly, yes.
And they're gonna release a lot of info in January. Evidently, there's some. I don't know.
January
if it's-
12th.
12th, yeah, the
Look
12th.
at you guys. You guys know this. You can tell who is the Nintendo. I love Nintendo, but you guys have a deeper love than me.
Yeah, I haven't even showed you my tattoos.
Yeah, I know, because you got to contort yourself to show
Well,
it to me.
they're on my back, just above, where my thighs meet the rest of my body.
That's an interesting a way to say a rear end. I love that area at which your thighs meet the rest of your body. What? You don't want a second date? Oh, man. Anyway, so enough about your Nintendo tattoo.
Yeah, and then I had to mention another piece of news just because I was a bonehead and forgot to mention it in the last podcast. Like we were talking about the PlayStation experience, and probably the biggest announcement of the thing I forgot to bring up, which was that they're making a part 2 for The Last of Us.
Last of Us. Oh, we didn't mention that.
Yeah, I totally left it out. So at any rate, that's out there if you didn't already know about it, and that's going to be hopefully super good.
Yeah, Last of
That'll
Us
be
was
really
a
good.
great game for
Yeah.
the PS3
Yeah, one of-
remaster for the PS4.
Yeah.
We all played it.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah,
Yep, I
we all
actually played it. Yep.
Did you guys ever find the like little secret Firefly token things? They were hidden throughout the whole game.
Yeah,
I
I found a few.
I only found like 2 or 3, and evidently there's like 60, which is crazy because I actually
I didn't
made
find 60 of them. I don't know how
well,
many
yeah,
I found.
I made a point to like look for them, and I couldn't find that many. Yeah, but anyway, that game is a great
Very
game.
good. Yeah.
Great game.
Looks great.
Yeah, and we'll see.
Well, and it's a really good story too. And I've kind of, about the time that game came out, I was like, another zombie game, because
Sure.
zombies were kind of like between Walking Dead and everything else, like zombies were just like
I
in
know,
your face.
but they did
all
a
the
different
time.
take of
Yeah, but it was
zombies
such a good story, and yeah, just kind of a different take on it. And it wasn't really about the zombies; it was just about the people.
And they made it really kind of a medical condition that I don't think is necessarily plausible. But the fact that this is a fungus was kind of different.
Yeah.
Outside of it was a fungus that was in the Super Mario Brothers movie too, right?
Oh, yeah, it was. Ooh,
Yeah, my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, but
I
also
want to see that movie.
Yeah, athlete's foot is the villain. Spoiler alert. Oh man.
Oh, that athlete's foot.
Yeah, just eat your head right
Yeah.
off.
But a lot of people love it.
People.
As soon as people saw that trailer, the whole place went nuts for The Last of Us. So obviously people love that game, and it is a great game. So if you have a PS3, PS4, and somehow you didn't play it, you really should do yourself a favor and play
Even
it.
I played that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had time to do that. Yep.
So, at any rate, I also wanted to talk about maybe our favorite game moments from 2016. If you guys had any, I don't mean to put you on the spot too much.
No, I like it. You're mixing things up here.
Yeah, so
you start.
I can go first, and I think maybe this is common between all of us. I honestly think, and I don't mean to. I know I'm too much of a VR cheerleader, but probably my favorite game moment of the whole year was just putting on the VR for the first time.
Yeah.
I think just
I'm with you on that.
Just because that was, and actually not even just playing it, like the initial part of playing it, but there's on the PlayStation Playroom, which we brought up on a previous podcast, and that's the free thing that Sony just kind of released for it.
Yeah.
There's a game on there that's a platformer where you're a person in the world, but you're controlling a little robot that's running around. Like, I thought that was so cool. It was one of those moments, and I don't get this sort of thing very often, but like where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up because something is just so
Which
cool.
part is this? Sorry.
It's the game in PlayStation Playroom.
Yep.
Okay.
Where you're a robot. It's just a simple one stage little platformer, and you're a robot, and you control
And you're looking
another
for
little
coins
robot,
and
you
stuff.
shoot
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're
I
looking for
actually got a
coins.
little sick from that one.
Oh, did you?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I thought that was just, and it's
It
a
is very cool, yeah.
It's almost a tech demo. It's not even a game really, but just the last time I turned a game on and felt a cool factor that high was like probably Mario 64.
Wow.
Like it's been that long ago.
That's 1990. That's 20 years.
Yeah. So, but like literally the last time and it wasn't even that the actual game itself was that cool, which it was.
It's just the concept of looking.
But
at something
it's just
in
like,
different
wow,
perspective.
they could do so much just with this.
Get you excited.
So it was just really, really neat. It controls really well, and just like I said, you're in this world, but you're controlling this other thing, like you would in real life with a remote control car or whatever, and it all feels completely intuitive. So that's where everything sort of just came together, and I was like, wow, that's just really, really neat. So I think that's my moment of the year.
Okay. Boy, me, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. My moment might not even be really a specific moment with a game. Mine might just be, the fun part of the video game was having, doing this podcast with you guys. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yep.
I appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas.
Happy New
Love you
Year.
both with all my heart, even though you didn't get me a present. That's fine. I'm just kidding. We don't give presents. Pat each other on the back. I ended up really liking going out Black Friday with my nephew. That was fun. Playing games, looking at games, and he got to play. It was funny. I had to work. I'm such an adult. Adulting stinks.
Adulting really does stink.
Adulting stinks.
When did we ever adult?
That's so the thing. It's like they show that when you're young, you have no money, you have all the time and then the energy. When you're middle-aged, which fine, we're closer to middle-aged than that, you have money, you have energy, you have no time, which is about right. And then when you're older, you have money, you have time, you have no energy whatsoever. You just want to nap all the time. I totally get that. Anyway, so it was fun to watch him play video games. I had to work, but it was fun. We got out on Black Friday. I got to see a game that I normally didn't like to play and watch him play Battlefield a lot, or Battlefront. No, Battlefield. Yeah. So that was a ton of fun, and also kind of seeing another perspective of like, oh yeah, this could be like
sort of getting you out of your comfort zone there a little bit.
Yeah, and just in the future, it's kind of cool to have a kid that might like the interests that you're into too. I really think our place, if we're raising humans, is to let them be their own humans. I know this is the non-dad of the three dads, right? Mine's still technically.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's let them figure out what they want to do and let them be their own people. But that being said,
keep them out of jail. Keep them out of jail. Keep them out of jail.
Yeah, they just better take care of me when I'm retired, not put me in
right.
one of them homes. But no, it's let them be their own humans and figure things out and like their own things. But it's exciting to know that maybe they're going to like some of the stuff you're going to like. That kind of thing. That'll be fun. So that might be my moment. Yours, Shane?
I'm going to piggyback off both of you guys. VR, I mean, I can go on about that, but I'll keep that one short. I mean, VR was a great experience for me this year, but also with my oldest, Lexi, of just her wanting to pick up and play DuckTales Remastered was just, I don't know, I can't explain it. It was just awesome how she wants to play that now, even though she can only move backwards and forth at time, back and forth at times. But it's
Michael
just
Jackson's.
really,
Okay.
it's just really, it's really cool, man. Just to see her get excited for video games and to really think that she wants to go down. She'll want to go down the basement and play video games. So, I mean, I'm just that was a really cool moment this year of gaming for me.
Cool.
So,
All right. And then kind of piggybacking on that, I also wanted to ask if you guys had any New Year's resolutions as far as gaming goes.
Gaming goes.
New Year's resolutions. I want to get my little library finished where I kind of have my collection of games already. I have them now away kind of from a kid area in my office, which will kind of be off limits. And I want to, create those like custom cases and kind of have them all arranged. It's kind of like the guy who has a big record collection and now it's just like putting it all together and going through and getting rid of the stuff he doesn't like. I'm enjoying the organization aspect of it. I'm enjoying kind of like keeping this stuff and having it for either my son, or, I also know, these are investments at any point. If we needed them, we would sell them if something happened and we needed to do that. So, my New Year's resolution is to, have a kid and get through that aspect of it and, have everything prepped and ready. Then I think I already said nursery's all done, 100% now.
Nice.
100% done. Showing it off. My half brothers overseas showed them via Skype. Nice. They liked it. They were impressed. So they said it looks ready. He's like, you guys seem all prepared and ready. I'm like, oh boy, I know we're not. We'll figure it out.
Never ready.
What about you, Adam?
With regard to video games, so I want to complete my Wii U set. So I want to do that sometime, maybe in the first half of the year. So, so that's the first thing, and then the second thing is, actually I have three, but the second is I want to be more focused in my collecting. So after January 1st, I'm only collecting NES. I'm only collecting Nintendo stuff. And that's it. Like I'm not gonna collect any other systems. So I'm just gonna try to be more focused in what I do. So and even of Nintendo, I only want to collect NES and probably Wii U. And not buy anything else. So just get a little bit more focused. Well, I shouldn't. I'm adding things now. I still have to keep up with the limited run stuff for PS4, but that'll be the only non-Nintendo things I think I buy as far as physical stuff.
Now they have did I tell you an incentive program coming up?
Oh, Jesus. No. All right. I don't need any more incentive.
Well, a couple of things. So I kept up some part of being on Twitter. I was able to find Limited Run is exactly that, a company that makes limited run physical games of digital games that would not necessarily have a limited run of them. We talked about it in a couple of podcasts ago, but they said a couple of the things they're going to fix are their shipping issues, which I have experienced now. They have... they're going to hire customer service people just for customer service at this point to kind of fix things. And they're also going to give an incentive program starting now. So some people were asking and tweeting them like, hey, can we start that incentive program for all the people that have bought everything before? Like, and I get that. But they said, no, we're starting now because that'd be too hard to kind of figure out. And we're planning this in for what happens. So it's some sort of ticket form. So every game you buy in 2017 and onward will come with a ticket. What that ticket does, I don't know. I think eventually you meet Gene Wilder, someone turns into a blueberry. You may or may not get stuck on a ceiling.
Do we get to meet Augustus Gloop?
Augustus Gloof.
I love the chocolate.
Yes. Oh, no. Save some room for later.
Save some room for dessert. I love the chocolate.
Yeah. But anyway, so what that all means, I'm not really sure, but anyway, that's
and then my third, we already kind of talked about. I got to get to some game conventions this year, so Super BitCon for sure, and then we'll see after that.
Yeah,
hopefully we can. Well, I don't think I'll do Portland this year, but I'm still
maybe
I'm holding out like a 5%, 10% chance
really?
of maybe
happening. I'm okay with not doing Portland this year, so maybe we could do it next year. Even plus, I have a kid, and even right now. I would like to be able to do the Super BitCon or the St. Louis one.
Yeah.
Just because I will be having a young kid at that point, so
Yeah.
you guys might have to be a duet instead of a trio for some of this stuff, but we'll see. The St. Louis one is nice because it's close,
Yeah,
so
that's
hopefully we
close.
can do that, and we can get some other friends to do that. But yeah, that'd be fun. We're excited to meet people, get our podcast out there, and grow. 2017 should also be a good year for us too, to see if we keep this train a moving.
Yep, keep it
and if
rolling.
no one listens,
Choo-choo.
that's fine. We're going to still enjoy doing this. We're going to pump these things out. So we appreciate everybody who has been listening to us. And we appreciate all the feedback and all the likes on the Facebook. Super stoked about that. And any questions, comments, please, we always say, videogamedads@yahoo.com is our email.
That's correct.
And our Facebook is facebook.com/videogamedads.
Yep.
Shane said, okay, good,
Yes,
good.
yes.
And our Twitter is @videogamedads. So we appreciate everybody this holiday. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
We
Merry Christmas.
appreciate you guys listening. We enjoyed this. Hey, episode 4
In the books.
It's in the books.
in the books.
If you enjoyed that music, please check out Evan King on Bandcamp for further details, and you can download some for yourself. Thank you.
Bye-bye.